Said, ever since God guided me, no wise person on earth has ever insulted me. I repeat, ever since God guided me, no wise person on earth has ever insulted me.
Ladies and gentlemen, you are going to enjoy this show. Okay? So here, this book of Salat, you can see here, they say the book of Salat, right? The prayer. Now, this is Hadith Sahih al-Bukhari 349, narrated by Abu Dhar. He said, Allah's messenger said, whilst I was at Makkah...
No, please read the text itself. Read the text itself, not translation. Read the text itself.
Siddik, listen to me carefully. I'm a questioner. You don't tell me how to question you.
No. You are dealing with the hadith. What you are reading is not hadith.
Show me in the rules where we said somebody...
Is it not hadith you are reading?
I said, Siddik, listen to logic here. Show me
there's no logic in what you are doing.
Rules. Show me in the rules where it says, I must read your hadith book in Arabic. Tell me.
The hadith is Arabic. The hadith is Arabic.
I said, show me in the rules.
We didn't also say that we are going to read translation. So just if you are quoting hadith...
I'm a questioner. Are you going to teach me how to question you?
Is the translation hadith? Is the translation a hadith?
Siddik, are you going to teach me how to question you?
You are questioning me on the hadith and you are not saying the hadith.
Can you shut your beak? Let me talk. Let me finish my question.
Okay, so simple guys, as you can see, he cannot read the Arabic again.
No problem. I've never been to school, ladies and gentlemen. I cannot read. Let the wise decide for themselves. I'm going to read the comedy book. See it for yourself. Can you mute your mic, please?
He cannot read. So continue with your
translation.
I don't believe that is the hadith. So
no problem.
I don't believe what you are reading is hadith. So you can't ask me a question on that.
When you come, you read it to your people and then tell them if I'm lying. Can you mute your mic? Let me make my point.
Go ahead.
Okay. So their own translation is translated by their own Sunni scholar Muhsin Khan, right? Muhammad Muhsin Khan. This is a translation. So when he comes to answer, let him read all these jumbles here and explain it. So now this is here. Narrated by Abu Dhar, he says, Allah's messenger said, this is God forbid. God's messenger will never say this garbage thing here. Wallahi lazim.
Go ahead with you are not lecturing. You are not lecturing. Go ahead with your question.
I'm going to ask you a question. I'm reading the question.
Ask the question and stop lecturing.
Siddik, why are you interrupting me? I don't understand.
You are lecturing instead of asking a question. So that is it.
You came preaching instead of a debate. You were preaching earlier when we
started. Go ahead. Simple. Go ahead with the question. Go ahead.
Jama, look at what is going on here.
You have the platform. Go ahead with the question.
But Siddik, don't interrupt me.
So go ahead with the question. I will interrupt you if you deviate. That is part of the.
Are you upset with the hadith or me?
Go ahead, ask question and don't give lectures. Simple.
Can you stop interrupting? Then I can read.
So read.
Please mute your mic for the sake of argument. When you are talking, I mute my mic. Can you mute your mic?
Read. Go ahead.
Siddik,
I'm not talking.
Mute your mic.
It is said in the rules, simple, that when you deviate, you'll be brought back to correction.
Mute your mic.
That is not part of the rule. So read.
Subhanallah. Siddik is upset with the hadith. Okay, no problem.
I feel like crying, eh?
I love you. Yeah. Peace be upon you all. Assalamu alaikum. Thank you all for coming once again. This is babashuaib, the correctional officer, and I'm here to do the part 2 of yesterday's program. That is the post-debate checkup on the emotional mushrik. You all saw how emotional he was, and he is still an emotional person. Thank you all for coming. I appreciate your presence, your support. Thank you for championing the truth, which has to do with the word of God, the book of God. Let's deal with the bozo. So as usual, salam to you all. Let me give some shout outs to all those who are present. Salam to you, Kudisia, Darf Vader, salam, Tariq Ayub, Nazir NSC, Irene Safia, Atik Halim, Marwan Divaj, Bawa Mac, youngest son, Baba Seidu Naganka, Salis. I see you, Salis Jimmy, salam. Bra Seydou Naganka Seydou, I see you. Salam. Thank you all for coming. Kindly share so other people can join as soon as possible. I'm only streaming via Facebook and YouTube only because I need to concentrate as much, and that is why I'm not streaming on TikTok at this time. So I'm streaming only via Facebook and YouTube. So kindly share so other people can join us as soon as possible. Then we just go on. Salam, Latif Gist. Thank you all for coming. So far, we have 27 people streaming live. At least let's go beyond 30 and then we start the program. As usual, yesterday's K Sharif Salam. Yesterday we had the tagging. We had the hashtag RIP Siddik Bozo. You can write RIP Bozo or Siddik Bozo, or you can write Siddik Bozo. That is hashtag Siddik Bozo. So you can write the hashtag Siddik Bozo, hashtag RIP Siddik Bozo, or a hashtag RIP Bozo. Yeah, there's a reason why I'm appealing for that to be done. There's a reason, and I'll explain the reason as time goes on, because the internet deals with an algorithm, and this algorithm is supposed to pass on a particular message that I want to set this guy as a scapegoat. So kindly, with the support of you, the believers, let this be a lesson for the mushriks when they are stepping forth, or they are trying to step on my toes, and this is the same way I'm going to help handle them. So thank you all for coming. This is my way. I invite to Allah by perception, I and whoever follows me, and glory be to Allah, for I am not among the idolaters. So salam, Ayivor Ibrahim. Thank you all for coming. I appreciate your presence. Yes, so the topic of the day, let's move on. Hey, Tujis, the realist, I see you. So that is it for the salams for now, and then let's focus on today's topic, inshallah. So as usual, I'm going to put the rules and regulations of the debate that I agreed with Siddik Bozo, right? I put it on the wall, on the screen, and I go to this section. The rules says no insult, no mocking, no interruption, unless if there is a misquotation or mistake by the speaker. And then number 4 says no off-topic issues, right? No off-topic issues. And number 5, every statement will be backed up by tangible evidences or sources of information. This is very, very important. Number 5 is very, very, because today's topic I'm going to do is going to be surrounded around that every statement will be backed up by tangible evidences or sources of information, right? And subsequently, I'll be playing videos from the Bozo, right, to show you some of the things he said, the mishaps, the lies he's been doing, but rather tagging me a liar because he doesn't know the rules of a debate. So he's insulting me, calling me names, Okay. So these are the rules on the screen. The main focus is number 5 and number 6. That's the main focus of the rules for today, according to what I'm going to play. But before I go on to that, I'm going to put up some few verses on the screen, right, to show you what you have to be aware of when it comes to debate or when it comes to the matters of Islam, in terms of if you have to deliberate with somebody, the things you have to pay attention to, which is very, very important, right? So let me start by sharing the verse here. The Quranic verse, chapter 16, verse 125, where God says, Ad'u ila sabili rabbika bil hikmah, that is hikmati, wal mau'izat al hasanati, wajadilhum billati hiya ahsan. Then he says, Inna rabbaka huwa alamu biman dalla an sabili, wa huwa alamu bil muhtadin. So he says, invite to the way of your Lord by the hikmah. That is the hikmah, the al-hikmah he has given us. As I said yesterday, chapter 17, verse 39, ذَلِكَ مِمَّا أَوْحَى إِلَيْكَ رَبُّكَ مِنَ الْحِكْمَةِ. So the hikmah is found in the book. You find it in the al-kitab. And good preachment. So you have to invite by the wisdom and then good preachment. Mawizatul hasanat. And debate them. وَجَادِلُهُمْ بِالَّتِي هِيَ أَحْسَنُ, and have a debate or argue with them in the way which is best. So it doesn't have to go in a way where we are sitting in front of each other, insulting each other, as Siddik was doing, you know, trying to vex your anger on somebody, calling fatwa on somebody, trying to rebuke, castigate somebody. You understand? And you all saw how I comported myself, right? Because if I had to do the same to him, there will be no debate. There will be nothing to have to discuss about, right? Hey, salam, Brother Hamza Malik, I see you. Only the truth matters. You're welcome, brother. Yeah. So salam to all those who are joining, Balagun, everybody. Abdul Samad, I see you. Thank you all for coming. I appreciate your presence. So you saw him going clearly against the Quranic verse where he says, invite to the way of your Lord by wisdom. That is the hikmah, right? Hasanat, and then you have to use good preachment, good way of admonish, sermon, and debate them by that which is best. So you have to use the best methods, and that's why we set forth the rules and regulations between Siddik and I, and that is the rules here. No insults, no mocking, no interruption, unless if there is a misquotation or mistake by the speaker, which when I put that into place and I tried to interrupt by correcting a mistake from him, he got offended and he told me, leave that to the audience. Now, how are the audience supposed to stop you and correct you? I don't get it. So he got offended. So no off-topic issues. Siddik keep going off-topic issues, right? Off-topic issues meaning talking about things about me personally is off-topic. Going personally about me. We don't know your teacher. We don't know your background. We don't know. That is not why we came there for. That is off-topic issue, right? Because off-topic, if that is the case, why will you, if you think you don't know my teacher, I don't have a background, why did you accept to have a debate with me? I don't get it. Do you understand? So, and then number 5 is every statement will be backed up by tangible evidences or sources of information, which still he failed. So he failed. Number 1, no insult, he insulted me. Number 2, no mocking, he mocked me. Number 3, no interruption unless if there is a misquotation, which I didn't do any misquotation and I didn't do any mistake, and he kept interrupting me. He doesn't give me the chance to ask him a question. Keep interrupting without any basis. No off-topic issues, I just explained that. Every statement will be backed up by tangible evidence. He never brought any tangible evidence in our debate. And then number 6, one can plead for extra 2 minutes added time to finish a point if needed, and that has to be with the cross-examination section. When I gave him 5 minutes to answer my question, which he didn't answer, I needed the 2 minutes to cross-examine him. But it seems he doesn't understand the meaning of cross-examination, and I'll be explaining that today, inshallah. So now going back to the verse, this is how God says we should do our debate, right? So you have to invite to the way of your Lord by what? By the hikmah and a good preachment, and debate them by that which is best. Indeed, your Lord is aware of one who has deviated from his way, and he is aware of the guided, of those who are guided, right? So instead of sitting face to face insulting each other, because I know Siddik is an educated person as he claims to be. So I knew, we can handle each other. That's why we don't need a mediator. But of course, in reality, I knew mushriks hardly can keep up to a promise or be honest with an agreement. I know they can never be honest with an agreement. But however, I have to put him to the test so that the audience, the people watching, can actually see who is truthful and who is not. It has to be evident. So then when I accepted to go on his platform the first time, he has to be the one who is the host. The host has to read out the rules and then be the example to the rules, but he never followed any rule. So with this, I think whilst we were negotiating, I even told him, Siddik, if you want, let me host you and I'll show you how it is done. Right? And he refused, right? Which I have the audio discussion, what we agreed. He clearly shows he was scared. So this is Quran chapter 16, verse 125. So the next chapter I take you is Quran chapter 40, verse 69, right? Surah Al-Ghafir. In Quran chapter 40, verse 69, God is telling us clearly, Alam tara ila allazina yujadiluna fi ayati Allahi anna yusrafun. Have you not considered those who argue against the verses of God, how they are deviating? You understand? I was there in the debate to use the verses of God to show as a reference that the Quran is sufficient for the source, to explain itself. Siddik was there to prove to us that no, the Hadith is the one explaining the Quran, and yet he couldn't provide one evidence to show that it is the Hadith. He never provided. So now God is telling us, or he's telling the prophet in this context, Alam tara ila lazina yujadiluna fi ayatillahi anna yusrafun. Have you not considered those who argue against the verses of God, how they are deviating? You can use considered, you can use seen. Have you not seen? You can use it in some context based on the context, because this is evident that we can see such a people, right? Now, the interesting part about this verse that I'm going, the next verse in the same chapter that I'm going, the interesting part is I'm going to chapter 40, verse 35. Now, this is the interesting part. God says, Allazina yujadiluna fi ayati Allahi bighairi sultan atahum kabura maktan inda Allahi wa inda allazina amanu kazalika yatba'u Allahu ala kulli qalbin mutakabbir jabbar. So God says those who argue against the verses of God without authority coming to them, such is a major aberrance, maktan, something that God actually hates. So it is a major aberrance to God and to those who believe. So those who believe, like believers who are watching the debates or watching what Siddik was doing, you hate what he is doing because he's being arrogant towards the verses of God. I'm saying the verses of God is bayina, is bayan, is a declaration, is a clarification, is a elucidation, exposition. Siddik says no. I'm saying the book is a clarification for all things. Quran chapter 16 verse 89. Siddik says no. I'm saying the Quran is clear. Kitabin Mubin, Quran in Mubin. Siddik says no. So meaning the Quran cannot do anything for itself. We need the Hadith. And he couldn't provide the evidence as to where does it say the Hadith is the one to explain the Quran. Nowhere. You see the problem. So now God is telling us in this verse, thus does God seal the heart of all who are arrogant and tough. When we say tough, Jabbar, somebody trying to be a tyrant, right? Tough, stubborn, right? Stubborn can be somebody who is stubborn. So arrogant, meaning going against the verses of God arrogantly. That is without right. The person is not doing all these things rightfully, which is something God really, really, hates about a person. So now the reason why I quoted all these verses is to establish a foundation for you to understand that arguing against the verses of God is a danger zone to enter. It is something that God really, really, hates about a person. So now God says, have you not considered those who argue against the verses of God, how they are deviating? You saw it in Quran chapter 40, verse 69. Now let's move on to the main issue of today, right? So I'll be playing videos subsequently to show you some of their mishaps. Yeah. Thank you very much, Muhammad Gaddafi. I appreciate your comment. I appreciate that. Musa Seydu says, wisdom is speaking, inshallah, tabarakallah. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. Imam Taj says what? Sheikh, I saw a video of Quran scholar from is it Niger or what? Who says something about Bilal and claim he is this and that is that also in the Quran. I don't get your question. Your question is not clear enough. But anyways, let me move on to the topics today. The topic of today, I'm going to put now Siddik video. Let's start already. We have done 22 minutes, so let's start already. I'm going to put Siddik's video and let's see what Siddik has to tell us. Siddik the bozo. Don't forget to do the hashtag Siddik bozo, hashtag RIP Siddik bozo, or RIP. You can do hashtag University of Ghana. Let them come and see their graduate who claims he's a lecturer at the same time. Oh my God, Siddik. Okay, so let's start with cross-examination number 1. This is in Sahih Muslim, right? I hope everybody can see the screen. Is it visible enough? Because I'm sharing it. Does it show? Yeah, so that is the hadith in Sahih Muslim. And the hadith here, which is narrated by Aisha, right? Even though it has been shortened.
So,
but in the hadith,
can you read it in Arabic?
I'm going to read because I'm asking you a question. So I have to choose where I'm going to ask you. Okay. So now he forgot that we are coming to do a debate and we have a topic of discussion on board. We didn't come to do reading competition, reading of Arabic by force competition. I think he misunderstands why we are there. And that is why initially I put the hadith, both the Arabic and English, on the screen, right? Because I know he will be reading the Arabic, right? So I put it on the screen. But you see his motive. It will be clear. You will notice that. Arabic section, in that Arabic section, it says, كَانَ فِيمَا أُنزِلَ مِنَ الْقُرْآنِ. So I was targeting the part I want to use to ask him the question. I don't know what he is interested in. For me, as if for me to come and prove to the people that I can read all the hadiths. Why will I waste my time reading a garbage book? Why? I would rather use that effort to read the Quran. As you saw in the debate, I've been reading Quranic verses and to give the evidence of what I want to say. But why will I waste my effort to read? And remember, I'm the questioner. I have to ask him a question. So he is not supposed to tell me what to do. Salam liman imrana. But let's see. Here, kana fima unzila min al-Quran. So that is the point I wanted to use to question. Kana fima unzila min al-Quran. And let me put that hadith on the screen, then you see it clearly here. So I go here. This is the hadith. I hope you can see the hadith I put on the screen, right? So what I wanted to do is to take a portion of the part I want to ask question. I don't care whether he's interested in me to read. What am I reading for? Is that what I need? No, I need a portion. So I went to this side. Kana fima unzila minal Quran. So this Nana Aisha is claiming that this particular statement she's going to say was revealed in the Quran. So I'm going to use that to ask him a question. So pay attention how Siddik deviated the question. Just pay attention. This particular hadith I'm going, they said it has been revealed.
Can we start the hadith so that to be clear for everyone? This is a day of clarity, day for clarity.
Siddik,
so can we...
wait, Siddik, wait. Let me put you right here. I'm the questioner, right? And I'm going to question you.
No, your
you
question
have
is
to,
from
wait.
Right?
You have to bring clarity to the audience, not me. You have to bring clarity.
Your question is
That is the idea of a questioner. I'm questioning him so that he can explain and bring clarity. That was the point of the question. But I don't know what he wanted me to prove here. Like to tell the people, oh, Shoaib knows how to read the garbage book. Remember, it wasn't the Quran, it is a garbage book. He wants me to show my eloquence. Oh, he can read.
To be clear first.
No problem. I'm asking you the question. I can choose wherever I want to ask you the question. If I'm lying, you can tell the people I lied. Simple.
No, I don't
because
need to
of
do
time.
it.
No,
Make
wait.
the question clear.
Do you see how he keep interrupting me? He was supposed to mute the mic. I will do whatever I want to do and then ask the question. Then he has to come in and then read his Arabic or whatever he wants to read and read it and then tell the people what it says. Because the game I wanted to play with him is to make him come to answer. He will read, and when he lies, I say, hey, stop there. That's not the case. But this is what he was trying to do. You don't tell me how to ask you the question.
I'm not telling you how to ask me a question.
Yeah, so
I'm saying,
stop interrupting.
Read the thing clear. Read the thing clearly.
And I said, do you know what the way I'm going to question you? No.
Okay, go on.
That is the point. So the hadith has been narrated by Aisha, right? So normally when you check the Arabic version, they have, there's a, for instance, Addathana Yahya. But when they put the translation, they don't put the Yahya there. So they just shorten it by going to Aisha. So when you check on the screen, you see Aisha, and Aisha comes on this side, and Aisha comes on this side. That's the last person. Anha, you see? Annaha qalat. Now it says, Kana fima unzila min al-Quran. So this particular hadith of breastfeeding, which says among the 10 things that were revealed of the Quran was that of 10 definite breastfeedings making a person a mahram. Then that was abrogated and replaced with 5 definite breastfeedings. And the messenger of Allah passed away when this was among the things that were recited of the Quran. According to the hadith, there's a verse about this breastfeeding, which is part of the Quran. Yeah. So this was my question to him, right? Now check carefully what is going to happen. So Siddik, I want to ask you, if you believe the Quran is complete today, that means we should find this in the Quran. Unless if you want to be a kafir right now in front of your audience and tell us, how did this verse concerning breastfeeding 10 people got vanished from the Quran? Because if right now you tell us that this hadith, which clearly states here that the breastfeeding of 10 adult men was first of all revealed in the Quran, now we don't find it. So how does this hadith, particular hadith I'm quoting, explain a verse in the Quran and show us the verse? Kindly show us the verse with explanation and show me where the verse is and why we don't find the verse. And do you believe the Quran is complete? That is the question. So, ladies and gentlemen, do you see the clarity of my question? It's a simple and clear question. In the beginning, he kept interrupting. So after he stopped interrupting, I had the time to clarify the question clearly. Now check what Siddik is going to do. Now he forgot that based on my question, by mentioning the word adult, I've already accumulated other hadiths that I know about in the same Sahih Muslim book. So I know it is still referring to adults. But he's going to lie here. Now check what he's going to do.
Okay, so you see, no, put back the text. Kindly put back the text.
Initially, in the debate front, I'm not supposed to provide him that evidence, the book. He has to now bring his own copy because maybe my own could be a forgery. So he was supposed to take his own copy and then provide it to people and say, no, it doesn't say that there, or it doesn't say this there. But he wants me to still provide him my evidence for him to make a case. But watch how he's going to do.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not supposed to help you again.
No, I'm saying put back the. Why did you remove the text?
No, is it for you? It's yours. Is it yours? I'm asking you a question.
You see, the reason why I say you should put back the text is because you are using the text based on the text. That's why you are what you're using to ask your question. And I'm saying put back that text you are using to ask the question. As simple as that. Or it is not from the text, or you are just saying something on your own. Because when you were reading the Arabic, you got to a point and then you skipped it and then you went reading English. So
But
I said put back the text.
Wait. Did you understand my question in the first place? Did you understand the question? So that was my motive. My motive is, Siddik, did you understand my question? It's not about the text or whether the text is my question. Siddik, did you understand my question? So look at the deviance here.
I didn't understand. So that's what I'm saying. I didn't understand your question.
Simple. Then just tell the questioner, can you repeat your question? Simple. This guy is supposed to be a graduate. This guy understands English. This guy is actually lecturing people at the university.
And I've studied English. I'm a graduate, so I know English.
This is what he said. He has studied English. He's a graduate and he knows English. And still, this guy is teaching at the University of Ghana. So kindly hashtag University of Ghana. Let them see they are graduate. You understand? You didn't understand my question. The simplest thing you should have done is, babashuaib, can you repeat the question? But he wasn't interested in my question. Let me show you what he was interested in. And simply tell me to repeat. Simple. That's logical. Ask me to repeat. If you don't understand.
What is repeat and put back the question? What is the difference?
Now look at the English he just spoke. What is repeat and put back the question? The verse I put of the hadith I put on the screen is not the question. The question is coming from me, my mouth. It is not the thing on the screen which is the question. This guy says he understands English, right? Okay, no problem. Let me put it for you. Siddik, you want me to put it? I put it for you. I thought you have your hadith books with you. You couldn't access it.
No, you see, today I made something to give a signal. You see, I didn't sit by the library. It's just a signal for those who understand.
Okay, no problem. He says it's a signal for those who understand. So he stayed away from his library. But later on, his brother, who is another studying law next to him, his backup support. His backup support keep taking the hadith book and giving it to him whenever he needs it to read. He just asks for it. So this guy says it's not in his library at the same time. But let's check what Siddik has to say, right? Now, so I've shared it. It's there in the option. Put it on the screen.
So which hadith book is that?
Sahih Muslim.
Sahih Muslim. Okay, so if I can see clearly from here, we say, حدثنا يحيى بن يحيى قال قرأت على مالك أن عبد الله بن أبي بكر عن عمرة عن عائشة أنها قالت كان فيما أنزل من القرآن 10 رضعات معلومات يحرمن. Now, where in this verse says that breastfeeding of old men?
You see how he twists my words. And then in the first place, who is the questioner? Who was supposed to be the one to be asking questions? Was it Siddik or was it me? It was my turn to ask you questions. Now he turned the tables around. He wants to question me. And by questioning me, he lied and he says old men. Ladies and gentlemen, the word old men. Old men. Siddik said, I said old men. Now listen to the argument. He is going to swear in vain. Now check.
Of older people. Where in this hadith says that breastfeeding of old people? Where is that?
You see? Old people. You see the words he's using? Twisting. This is what mushriks are good at.
In the Arabic text.
Finish reading the hadith and tell us what it says.
It said, ثم نسخ بخمس معلومات فتوفي رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم وماذا؟
So now his brother is going to go access the library and give him the book where he has to read. Now check.
فتوفي رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم وهي فيما يقرأ من القرآن. Now you said, so guys, I just want this to be clear to everyone. He said that the hadith says that feeding of grown-up men has been abrogated. I'm asking him, where in the text is it said that feeding of grown-up men? Where is it?
Is that my question? Ladies and gentlemen, let's be honest. Was that my question? Hey, Siddik bozo. Hasbunallah wa ni'mal wakil. Hey! Was that my question? La ilaha illallah. Do you see how the mushrik are manipulative? They do this for their audience. And he's not even paying attention to my question at all. That's why I asked him for the second time, did you understand my question? He said no. I said, then Siddik, tell me to explain my question to you. So now he has to twist the words. He turned the tables around. He wants to question me by twisting my own words. Now listen. So I tried to correct him. Where in the text does it say?
Where in the text? Where in the Arabic text?
No, wait. That's why I put the text on the screen. This is your books. Listen carefully. Wait, don't interrupt. This is your books translated by your own scholars. And I put it on the screen for everybody to see. Wait, don't interrupt. Let me explain. Then, if you have understood my question, listen carefully. You put it there, so it's clearly obvious to the audience that your people are translating books to deviate people. That is the number one. His people, when I said his scholars, he was rejecting Dr. Muhsin Khan, Mohammed Muhsin Khan. And I'm going to explain that. I'll come back to this video. I'm going to show you who is Dr. Muhsin Khan. Then you get to understand this point. Now, in the first place, who is Dr. Muhsin Khan? Siddik will reject that scholar. He will reject him. You say, no, we don't know him as a scholar, right? And then this is where he transgressed the rules of the debates by calling me a liar. Straight, he will say, you are a liar, by twisting my own question. So now I'm going to put it on the screen. Then you see who is Dr. Mohsin Khan, right? Here. Dr. Mohsin Khan, you see, Mohammed Mohsin Khan, born in the year 1927, died in the year 2021, was an Islamic scholar. And when we say scholar, many a times people don't understand the word scholar. In Arabic, the word scholar is alim. If it's in the plural form, we say ulama. So alim here, alim, is a learned person, someone who by long study has gained mastery in one or more disciplines. That is what we call alim. That is a scholar. So you can be an alim when it comes to translation. You can be an alim when it comes to recitation. You can be an alim when it comes to any aspect of discipline that you know a lot about for a long time. You have experience. You can be a scholar in that field. That's what is meant by a scholar. So we go back. Was an Islamic scholar and translator of Afghan origin who lived in Medina and served as the chief of department of chest diseases at the King Faisal Specialist Hospital and Research Center, which is based in Medina, right? That's Saudi Arabia. He translated both the Quran and Sahih al-Bukhari into English. So somebody who is not a scholar, can he do that? Can he translate Quran to English and translate Sahih Bukhari full volumes in English? Can he do that if he's not a scholar? If you haven't studied, can you do that? Okay. He was the director of the Clinic of Islamic University of Medina. Listen to the word. He was the director of the Clinic of Islamic University of Medina. He was the first translator of Sahih al-Bukhari into English language. The first in the world. He was the first translator of Sahih al-Bukhari into English language. Now, when we say translator, we can say turjuman, or we can say mutarjim. That is a translator. Now, a person who translates written messages from one language to another. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Can somebody translate one language to another if that person is not an alim? He is not a scholar. He's not knowledgeable. Can he do that? The answer is no. You need to be knowledgeable by experience in order to translate something to something. And this guy was an official translator. It's not like you go to pick up a street guy to translate a book. No. Saudi Arabia approved his books. And I'm going to show you the example. I'm going to open one of the hadith books I have to show you something, right? So let's say I take Sahih Bukhari. I take this and I share it on the screen. I don't know if you can see that. I'm going to share that on the screen. So I stop this and I present this one. Now, if you take the Sahih al-Bukhari translations he did, all the volumes of the Sahih al-Bukhari books, it says here published by, do you see here? Published by Darus Salam. That is Darus Salam. And where are they based? In Riyadh, Saudi Arabia. Printed in July 1997. Printing supervised by Abdul Malik Mujahid. Now, when you come to this side, Infad National Library, cataloging in publication data, Al-Bukhari, Muhammad ibn Ismail, Sahih al-Bukhari, translated by Muhammad Mohsin Khan. In where? Riyadh, Saudi Arabia, right? Now, look at this work here. Saudi Arabia approves this as a worldwide book by Muhammad Mohsin Khan. So, ladies and gentlemen, if this guy is not an approved scholar for the whole world, can he do that job? Will Saudi Arabia endorse his work? The answer is no. So now, some street guy in Ghana, who is from, he says Teshi, or is it, he says Nima Teshi. He has been in Nima, of course. Teshi, he is saying he doesn't acknowledge Dr. Mohsin Khan as a scholar. And you are going to see what is going to happen. So listen to Siddik.
Something like that in the Arabic. You are
Check.
like that in the
Tell
Arabic.
us what it means. Did you tell us what it means?
So the hadith is saying that Nana Aisha radiallahu anha, she said, "Kana fima unzila min al-Qur'an." Let me read it from you. The Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, Nana Aisha is saying that, "Kana fima unzila min al-Qur'an 10 rada'atin ma'lumatin yuhramna." Said the Prophet sallallahu alaihi during his time, Nana Aisha is saying that there were verses that was revealed in the Quran, 10 of them about.
This is my question. The hadith, Nana Aisha is saying in the hadith that there were verses which were revealed in the Quran. But those verses, we don't find it in the Quran. It doesn't exist. We don't see it anywhere in the Quran. It doesn't exist. So that was where my question was based. But look how Siddik is going to twist the words.
That it is about breastfeeding that are ma'lumatin yuhramna, breastfeeding that are known for people that, how do you call it? Yuhramna are from the people that cannot.
This guy says he's a graduate. This is what he said.
And I've studied English. I'm a graduate, so I know English.
But you see how he's struggling to make a sentence. Okay, watch.
How do you call it? Marry you or something like that. People that cannot marry you, which we call mahram. Mahram, people that cannot marry you.
So who is a mahram? Who is a mahram? Siddik was trying to lie. So who is a mahram? Ladies and gentlemen, you can search it for yourself, but I'm going to put it on the screen as to who is a mahram, right? Okay. Now, when we say a mahram, let me share the screen so that you see who is classified as a mahram, right? Now, when we say mahram, mahram is an Arabic word. However, it has been Romanized into English to mean mahram, right? So when we say mahram, mahram is the Arabic word used to describe the male relative of a woman for whom it is prohibited for her to marry. When a woman gets married, her husband also becomes a mahram. And what does mahram mean? A person forbidden for, marriage. Right? But in the context of mahram, the hadith people have explained it in such a way that that person is to protect you, right? That you cannot marry is a family member or something, but somebody you cannot marry. But if you are already married to a husband, that husband can become a mahram according to the hadith people, the rules they have set for themselves. Okay. So now this is what Siddik is going to say, contrary to what is happening. Listen to Siddik.
They say that feeding of old men, old people. Where is it?
So he kept using, where does it say feeding of old people? Ladies and gentlemen, you heard my question. Did I say old people? Did I use the word old people? No. And he keeps saying, where does it say old people? It is my turn to ask you questions, Siddik. You could have deflated what I have said and then go straight to my question and answer my question. But this is how he stalled the argument. So now look what is going to happen. Did I mention old, ladies and gentlemen?
Wallahi, that's what you said.
You see, he says, Wallahi. That's what I said. And can you trust these guys? Can you trust a person like Siddik like this? Is this guy honest? Quran chapter 2, verse 255. I put the verse on the screen and I'll show you something. Oh, yeah. Oh, sorry, it's 225. So let me put the verse on the screen and I will show you something here. Surah Al-Baqarah, yes. Let me share the screen here. So check this verse. So God says, God does not blame you. La you are hizukumullahu billagwi fi aymanikum. God does not blame you for the nonsense in your oath. But what does he do? Walakin you are hizukum bima kasabat kulubukum. So what he does is, but he blames you for what your hearts have earned. So within his Siddik, his heart, he knows he's accusing me falsely. But then he said, Wallahi. Do you understand? Well, he called God to witness again, and then he said, I said old people. And the video is clear. The internet never forgets. I never mentioned the word old people. So this guy claimed to be a graduate, and he doesn't know the difference between saying old people and adults. An adult doesn't necessarily mean old person. And the reason why I said adult was based on a context, because I knew we were doing cross-examination. In case he says, I said adult, I can bring him another hadith to show him why I said that. But you are going to see the deviance act Siddik is going to do. Now, mind you, I'm playing his video, but Siddik himself gave a criteria on how to understand hadith, which I already know, because I was using that same criteria to question his hadith, but he doesn't know that I know. And I'll play that video to show you how Siddik is manipulative. So let's check how he lied against me, and he swore to God that I said old people. So listen.
Hey! Feeding of grown-up men. Feeding of grown-up
I said grown. So grown-up men means adults. If I say adult, it means grown-up men. But did I say old people? Did I say old men? This guy says he's a graduate. Listen to him.
And I've studied English. I'm a graduate, so I know English.
No, Siddik, you don't know English. I'm sorry to say. You are a graduate of the University of Ghana. God, that is embarrassing. You are embarrassing Ghana. I'm from Ghana, but you are embarrassing us. I'm serious. You are embarrassing us. Seriously. It's a shame. That's why I call you a bozo. Men.
So feed
wait.
So you think wait. Lie.
Now he said I lie because I said grown-up men. He didn't know that I was dealing with the context of different hadiths in the same Sahih Muslim book, which talk about grown-up men. Do you see the deviance? So I'm going to prove to you something interesting here. He said I lie by saying grown-up men. He didn't know I was using a context in between the hadith books, the verses of the hadith, because hadiths also go by verses. They go by numbers. We were reading 3,597. If you finish 3,500, you go to verse 3,598. Then you go 99. Then you go 3,600. Then you go like that. Those are called verses. And Siddik doesn't even know the meaning of a verse. And I'm going to show you why I use the word adult. Of course, it doesn't say directly adult in that verse. But remember, the word mahram is used there. Yuhuramna. Mahram is used there. And the mahram is used for a male adult who is actually protecting the woman. Like I showed you the mahram distance. Okay, so now look how Siddik is going to twist all my question and throw shades at me by actually insulting me and mocking me. But I comport myself. So watch. Wait, the audience are listening. Did I say old men?
Old men, grown-up men. So okay, you meant.
So now this graduate is now trying to twist the West now to fix what he said after loudly, you are a liar, you are a liar. Now look.
Grown-up men. You
don't know the difference between grown and old? You see the point? A university graduate who said he's a graduate, he has studied English and he knows English, doesn't know the difference between grown up, when we say somebody is grown up, an adult, and then old men or old people. He doesn't know the difference.
Subhanallah. Okay, let's take to your grown. Where is it mentioned in the hadith?
Okay. Let's stick to your grown. Where is it mentioned in the hadith? So let's go to Scholar Siddik. So Scholar Siddik, I'm going to play your video, but we want you, Siddik, to help us. How do we understand an hadith? In order to draw a judgment on hadith, how do I go by it? We are going to ask you, Scholar Siddik, help us out.
In Bukhari and Muslim and the Kutub al-Sitta, there says books, we call it famous books of hadith, not authentic books of hadith, the 6 famous. Okay, you'll find the prayers being narrated in it. And what we do with the Quran, both the Quran and the hadith, is what we call jam'ul ayati fi mawdi'il wahid. And that's the first thing. For you to bring a hukum from something, a judgment from something, you need to bring the relative verses of the Quran together. For example, zakat. You need to bring all the verses of zakat together so that you'll be able to explain them accordingly. And then also the ahadith of zakat together. So we have something called jam'ul ahadith fi mawdi'il wahid, and it's the same thing to the Quran. Okay, you don't just pick a Quranic verse and then make issue out of it. Just like the Quraniyun, they do, they sect. They call some people sect and they leave themselves. Okay, just like they do, they pick on one verse and they will intentionally say that they're picking from other verses. Anyway, so that is how the hadith is dealt with. There's hadith that narrates from where to start from takbir and then end with taslim. Okay, but where you want, okay, so why didn't the hadith mention surah here? Why didn't the hadith mention Subhana Rabbiyal A'la? We say we do Jam'ul Ahadith. We gather all the hadith in one place and then it is being explained accordingly. So
we heard what Scholar Siddik told us about how to draw a conclusion in a hadith book. You have to join all the topics. You find it everywhere, join it together, then you draw a conclusion, which I did the same. But Siddik didn't know the point I was coming from by mentioning the word adult. So ladies and gentlemen, whilst we were doing the debate, I even scrolled the page and I showed you the adult side, why I use the word adult. I scrolled the page and I showed it clearly. So I'm going to repeat that again to show you here. So you see the evidence clearly that I wasn't there to deceive anybody. Now here, this is the hadith, and I'm going to scroll again. And their own book, you will see the title. I'm going to show you the title. You'll be laughing mercilessly. Hey, sectarians, you have messed up by stepping on my toes. Now, you see on the page from 3,597, you move down, you go to 3,598. Then you move down, you go to 3,599. Now, these are called verses because it's a metric form of a text, right? That's called a verse, right? So then we go, and Siddik doesn't even know we can call this a verse. He says this is not a verse, this is hadith. Bozo is confused. Hadith is an Arabic word, it's not an English word. Now, look at chapter 7 here. Chapter 7. Look at the title of the hadith. Breastfeeding an adult. Now, for whoever can read Arabic and understand Arabic, it says Babu Rada'atil Kabir. You see? Breastfeeding of an adult or a grown-up. This is what the hadith says here in the Arabic text. That is the title of the book. That is 3,600. Then in the hadith here, now I'm taking you. Nana Aisha here. Nana Aisha is the one narrated from somebody. But check the hadith. Inside the hadith here, when you read inside the hadith, you go here, it says what? وَكَيْفَ أُرْدِئُهُ. How can I breastfeed him? وَهُوَ رَجُلٌ كَبِيرٌ. And he is a what? A grown-up man. What are they saying? They said the prophet. فَقَالَ النَّبِيُّ. They said the prophet was telling the person that already that breastfeed him. And then the lady says, she said, قالت وَكَيْفَ أُرْدِيُهُ. How can I breastfeed him? Because he's an adult. And then she said, وَهُوَ رَجُلٌ كَبِيرٌ. Now, listen, according to the hadith, listen to the answer the prophet, the messenger is going to give. Here it says, فَتَبَسَّمَ Rasulullahi. Then he says, وَقَالَ. And he said, قَدْ alimtu, that indeed or certainly I know, annahu, that he is rajulun kabir. I know he is a grown-up man, but still breastfeed him. This is his hadith book. You just saw the analogy Siddik gave. In order for me to draw a conclusion as to what a particular hadith needs, I need to join the concept of all hadiths that speaks about the topic before I can pass on judgment. He doesn't know I already did that with the hadith books. So when I mention the word adult, it's not me putting it there. It is by knowledge. Even his scholars approve that they know breastfeeding of adults is found in hadith books, but you don't find it in the Quran. So Siddik was basing his argument there, trying to say I lie to the people. When you read in the English translation of Muhsin Khan, you can see here, it says the prophet said, breastfeed him. She said, here, This is what I did to Siddik on that day. So I highlighted this part and I left it. And you can see Siddik was frustrated. Here, I highlighted only this part. The prophet said, breastfeed him. She said, how can I breastfeed him? He is a grown man. So this is what caused me to use the word adult when I was asking him the earlier question, because I know I've read all these things from the Hadith book. But that's why I told you this is a garbage book. You don't get my point. So this is the Arabic side of what we say a grown-up man. It's called Rajulun Kabir, this part. This part. Rajulun Kabir. Okay. Now let's go back to Siddik the bozo. Right? Let's go back.
Where is the mention in the hadith?
Siddik, listen carefully to the question.
So you have lied. So now
No,
the
I'm
hadith,
listening
you are trying to
carefully
use
to
the
the
question
question.
on its.
You see, he wasn't paying attention to my question, calling me a liar. We said no insult in the agreement of the rules. Look, this is what we said. We said no insult, no mocking, no insult. That's why I told you this is unprofessional. This guy has never done a debate. Had I known Siddik would be like this, I would never have debated him, because I never knew he's an amateur like this. You understand? But you saw how I comported myself. Yes. Okay, no problem. Oh, Siddik.
You have lied on the hadith.
Siddik, listen carefully to the question.
So move
I
to your
open.
next
Oh,
question.
wait.
Don't- move
Wait.
to your next question.
I put the screen on the screen and I'm reading from your own text. Your scholars translate your own words.
What do you mean by scholar's translation? Who
Listen.
translated it?
Listen.
I don't even know who translated it.
So, Siddik, all the claims you make, you are educated and you have learned Islamic law, whatever. Or you don't know Dr. Muhsin Khan. Dr. Muhammad Muhsin Khan, you don't know him. And you are rejecting him today, throwing him under the bus, trashing his translation, which Saudi Arabia, which you venerate so much. The Salafiyas, that's where they are based. They approve his translation. You, Siddik, today in a debate, you are rejecting it. And I asked you to translate. What was the difference when you translated? What was the difference? You also mentioned about mahram. I want to ask you, Siddik, does mahram, do you use kids as mahram? Now he's going to lie. He's going to lie here. We don't use kids as mahram, right? We use an adult male to do that. He's going to lie. Answer the question for everybody to hear.
Kids can be mahram. Kids can be mahram.
Where he says kids can be mahram. So now remember, in the rules, this is what we agreed. Agreement number 5. Every statement will be backed up by tangible evidences or sources of information. So now I'm asking him a question.
Kids can be mahram.
Now, in which country?
That is family that cannot. So, for example, I'm mahram to my daughter.
If you are a mahram to your daughter, are you not an adult, Siddik? Do you see what he said? So, for example, I'm mahram. He said, I'm mahram to my daughter. So, if you are a mahram, you, Siddik, are you not an adult or are you a baby? Do you see how they play with words? Mushriks, the sectarian, do you see how they play with words? Okay.
My daughter is mahram to my daughter cannot marry me.
He turned the word around. Then he says, my daughter is mahram to me. No, we don't use your daughter as a mahram. It doesn't go like this. Siddik, no wonder I gave you the name Bozo. You are a Bozo indeed. Subhanallah. Siddik, I'm asking you a question. Do kids, listen.
So my daughter, my kids can be mahram. It's as simple as that.
So again, ladies and gentlemen, you can look up the meaning of mahram. I'm going to share it on the screen again, right? So that you see it clearly that Siddik was lying to everybody. Now here is mahram. When we say mahram, is the Arabic word used to describe the male relative of a woman for whom it is prohibited for her to marry. When a woman gets married, her husband also becomes mahram. Do you see the point? That is a mahram, right? So Siddik was lying to the audience by twisting words out of context. Right? So let's listen to the bozo.
Siddik,
you haven't answered the question I asked you. Listen carefully.
The
question is there. Now, he's already taken 10 minutes of the time. I'm just asking him a simple question. He deflated my question. Trying to now, I don't know what he was trying to do. He wasn't interested in answer because he doesn't have the answer to my question. So check.
That you have lied. There's nothing like that.
I didn't
And
lie.
move on with
The
your
verse is
question.
there. It's your scholars lying. Look at the verse. It's translated, right?
What
It
is
has been
scholars?
translated, right?
So you see why I said you should put the Arabic text and read it?
I said the
But
Arabic
that is
text.
what you people you do.
Siddik, please translate it for us to hear. You
I've
just
already translated it. I've already translated it.
Good. You talk about, was it when you translate, was it talking about kids or grown men? Now listen to the answer he's going to give me. When I said, was it talking about kids or grown men? Listen to the answer. When you translate
It didn't mention, it mentioned yuhramna, mahar. It mentioned people that we cannot marry.
You say, when I ask him, does he say kids or adults? He said he doesn't mention, but he says yuhramna, then he says maharam. And this maharam is used for adults. Right? Maharam is used for adults. A male adult. A male, not female, male adult. Now look.
As simple as that.
And I said, Siddik, what was the context? The verse is there. Read it. That's why I said context, because hadith, in order to draw a conclusion, you have to gather all the hadiths for the same topic. Just as Siddik himself said, I played his video. You have to join all the topics regarding that issue so that you can draw conclusions. So I drew conclusion by gathering all the hadiths that I know or already talk about breastfeeding. Those hadiths claim it is meant for adults. You breastfeed an adult in the broad daylight. So that is why I used the word adults. And Siddik thought I was lying. And he knows I was telling the truth. So look at the game he's going to play. It clearly for people to hear to answer my question.
This is hadith.
Is it difficult?
This is hadith. And you have lied that the hadith has mentioned growth.
I said a verse. He said this is hadith. Siddik doesn't know the meaning of a verse. So let's help Siddik to understand what a verse means. He doesn't know the meaning of a verse. So let's help him again. When I said a verse, he thought if you say a verse, you are mistaken. So you have to say this is hadith. This is hadith. He says this is not a verse. This is hadith. What is the meaning of a verse? A verse is what? A verse, a line of metrical text or a literature in a metric form. A line of metrical text or a literature in a metric form. That is meant by a verse. So when I was saying this is a verse, it has a number 597. That's a verse, because you can check the metric form of that on the screen. I put the hadith. Where is it? Oh, sorry. Let me put it so that you see it here. Now, this metrical form you are watching, it has a number. For instance, this is 3,600. So it starts 3,600, then it ends at approximately here. So when it ends here, you see 3,601 also continues. Just like in the Quran, you take verses. In the Bible, you take verses, just like that. So when I say verse, Siddik is telling me this is not a verse, this is a hadith. This bozo is confused. He doesn't, hadith is an Arabic word. And he doesn't know the meaning of a verse. Subhanallah. But listen to him.
Siddik, you are lying. You are lying. You don't know Arabic. You see, that's a problem. You don't know Arabic.
Now, this is where he gets his fans rejoicing. You don't know Arabic. You don't know Arabic. We already said in the rules, we shouldn't go in that instance of name tagging, name calling, insulting. It distracts the attention of the debate. Had I known this guy is an amateur, I wouldn't have gone to that platform to even have a debate. So people were thinking, babashuaib, why did you do with such a bozo? I did it. Now you have the evidence, right? So now we can talk about it.
You are reading translation.
How many questions? When did you hear the question I asked you?
So your question even itself is a lie. So how do you...
Now he says my question is a lie. The hadith is clearly on the page. Nana Aisha said, "Kana fima unzila min al-Quran." This particular thing we are talking about, breastfeeding 10 times, was replaced by 5 times, according to Nana Aisha. And this is found in the Quran. That's what she said. This verse is in the Quran, but we don't see it in the Quran. And she even said it's replaced by 5 times, and we don't find it in the Quran still. And at the end of the hadith, where it says, وَهِيَ فِيمَا يُكْرَأُ مِنَ الْقُرْآنِ, and it is part of the reading of the Quran when it was revealed. So now, how come we don't find it? So I was trying to ask Siddik question by this issue only, and Siddik twisted my question. Now he said my question is a lie.
You expect me to answer that?
How is it a lie when the verse? Look at your scholars translating something there.
Who translated? How is it my scholar? Who translated? How is it my scholar?
He said I translated it. The translation is on a page. Was I the one who translated it? It's Dr. Muhsin Khan, Muhammad Muhsin Khan, approved by your own slave masters, Siddik. Your own slave masters, the Salafiyya movement or whatever, what they approved it.
Tell me, who is that? Who is the translator?
No, you don't believe in Sahih Muslim anymore.
This is Sahih Muslim. The Arabic is Sahih Muslim. The English is not Sahih Muslim. The Arabic
Siddik,
is, this is
Siddik,
translation.
for the
The
sake
English
of
is
argument,
translation of Sahih Muslim.
Siddik, please. Now, according to the hadith, the verse was revealed in the Quran, but it has been abrogated. Can you tell me which verse of the Quran does it explain?
Okay, so do we have verse of Rada'a in the Quran? Do we have verse of breastfeeding in the Quran?
He's asking me a question again. Oh my God, what kind of bozo is this? It's my turn to ask you a question. Nana Aisha says it is in the Quran. Now you are now turning the tables around to ask me, do we have the verse of breastfeeding in the Quran? I'm asking you a question. Did you hear my question when I started?
First of all, so let me answer that. In the first place, you are trying to ask about abrogation and how do you call it? Nasikh wa mansukh.
No, that's not what I'm asking. I'm asking concerning this verse. This particular thing they are saying about breastfeeding. So he says the hadith we are really checking is not a verse. You see how confused he is? And this guy says he understands English. This is himself saying he understands English.
And I've studied English. I'm a graduate, so I know English.
You don't know English. You say you are a lecturer at the University of Ghana, a graduate of University of Ghana, and you are still a lecturer there. They have to demote you. Please kindly hashtag University of Ghana for them to see this.
Okay, which verse? This is a hadith.
No,
so
but
what are you talking about verse?
That's me. You see what he's doing? He says this is not a verse, this is hadith. This bozo doesn't even know hadith is an Arabic word. A verse means a metrical form of text you are reading. A line of a metrical text. That's all. That's a verse, what it means. He's telling me this is not a verse. What is it, Siddik? He says this is hadith. Subhanallah. This guy is... Oh my God. You don't understand the question I'm asking. You see the point here. That's why I just told him. You don't even understand. But I didn't want to use the word, you don't know English. I could have just told him, Siddik, you are ignorant. You don't know English. But I didn't want to go there because we set forth a rule and we have to agree to that. So I showed him that I was mature than him. Siddik, I'm the one supposed to ask you a question, not you asking me a question.
Now start and arrange your question and take out the lie from
simple,
it. So now ask your question.
Simple.
Ask your question.
Now, this is the hadith. I started by saying in the hadith, it says, Kana fima unzila min al-Quran. Meaning, according to Nana Aisha, according to the hadith, this particular hadith, this statement she's going to make it was earlier on revealed in the Quran. Kana fima unzila min al-Quran. But what happened? What happened later on? This verse has been abrogated again out of the Quran. So this is the translation of the scholars. Then I said, if you believe the Quran is complete, how come we cannot find this hadith there? And if you believe the Quran is not complete, which means you are a kafir. That's what I said. So now the question goes like this. Since it says this particular breastfeeding issue was revealed in the Quran and later on abrogated, which means it's out of the Quran, which means according to this hadith, if you believe this hadith is authentic, that means you are a kafir, which means the Quran is not complete because we believe the Quran is complete right now. So now this is the explanation here. Your scholars translated by saying, Aisha said, among the 10 things that were revealed of the Quran was that 10 definite breastfeedings make a person, look at the word, a person a mahram. Then that was abrogated and replaced with 5 definite breastfeedings, and the messenger of Allah passed away when this was among the 10 things that were recited of the Quran. Do you see the point? Now here, then I ask you a question concerning this issue I'm reciting right now, that if you believe this was first of all revealed in the Quran and abrogated, can you answer that question? This is my question.
Okay, so now you leave it for
simple. Do you need a degree to understand this question?
For me to answer, inshallah.
Good, answer.
Okay, so inshallah, first of all, so leave that to me. Let me finish speaking. I gave you the chance to finish talking. First of all, he mentioned from the beginning that the hadith is talking about breastfeeding.
Set the time, 5 minutes. You want to escape the timer. and he's going to lie.
Okay, so first of all, let me bring back the hadith if I can find it. Where he was talking about grown-up men, the hadith never mentioned about grown-up men. He mentioned about people we cannot marry, and that's what the hadith is talking about. And that Nana Aisha, she is saying that during the time of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, there were verses that were abrogated, meaning removed. Indeed, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala.
That's not what Nana Aisha said. Nana Aisha said it was first of course revealed in the Quran. Then it was later on abrogated. So I say if it was revealed, where is it? And then the ones who claim they are abrogating that ones, the 5 breastfeedings, where are they in the Quran? They are not even there. Look at the lie Siddik is going to.
He mentioned in the Quran that ma nansakh min ayatin aw nunsiha in Surah Al-Baqarah.
So now he's going to lie.
Ma nansakh min ayatin aw nunsiha na'ti bi khayr minha aw mithliha. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, he said, ma nansakh, and we do not abrogate. Ma nansakh min ayatin. We do not abrogate. You are distracting me with what you're doing on the screen.
I wasn't distracting him. I was showing the people the truth in their garbage books, that this is it. It says grown man. I wasn't lying because I know the context of the hadith, and Siddik himself said it. If you want, in order to draw judgments on the hadith, you have to gather all the topics concerning that particular issue you are talking about before you can decide on the issue. And I did the same before using the word adult or grown man.
Ma nansakh min ayatin, we do not abrogate a verse, or nunsiha, or we cause it to be forgotten. Na'ti bi khayri minha, we bring a better verses than that, aw mithliha, or
so he lied about the verse, and I'm going to put it on the screen to show you the correct meaning of that verse. This is how mushriks lie, and correctional officer is here. I will scrutinize them. I will expose them one by one. He's lucky he's not a top scholar. I will have tarnished his image. Poto, 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 poto. So I'm going to show it on the screen. Look here. He quoted the verse and he is going to lie about it. So let me show you the verse here. Quran chapter 2 verse 106. When God says, Ma nansakh min ayatin aw nunsiha nati bi khayrin minha aw mithliha alam ta'alam anna Allah ala kulli shay'in qadir. So whatever we transcribe. Now the word nansakh is not abrogation. Mushriks will tell you abrogation. That's a lie. In order to understand this, I'm going to take you to several places this thing is mentioned. This word is mentioned. You have to check the context to decide. It's not about abrogation. Of course, if you go to Quran chapter 22 verse 52, in that context, you have to check the context. In that context is talking about abolishing something. But when you check the context in which God is talking here, he never used a negative statement. He never said illa. Had God used illa, then yes, it will be referring to abrogation. So Quran chapter 2 verse 106, God says, whatever we transcribe of a sign or cause it to be forgotten. You know, you can only forget maybe a verse, or, you know, you can remember a verse or cause it to be forgotten, right? Okay. We bring one better than it, or the like of it. So it's either an equal verse or something better. And that's exactly what the Quran came to do to the previous books. So when you go to Quran chapter 5 verse 48, this is the purpose of the Quran coming. The purpose of the Quran is to supersede over the other previous books God sent. So God says, وَأَنزَلْنَا إِلَيْكَ الْكِتَابَ بِالْحَقِّ مُصَدِّقًا لِمَا بَيْنَ يَدَيْهِ. Then he says, مِنَ الْكِتَابِ. Then he says, وَمُهَيْمِنًا عَلَيْهِ. So the Quran is to be dominant over the previous books. Remember, Quran chapter 3, verse 3 to verse 4. Here, I'm going to put it on the screen. Quran chapter 3, verse 3 to verse 4. Yes. I put it on the screen here. Yeah. Quran chapter 3, verse 3 to verse 4. God says, نزل عليك الكتاب بالحق مصدقا لما بين يديه وأنزل التوراة والإنجيل. Then it continues, من قبل هدى للناس وأنزل الفرقان. Then he says, إن الله, you see, إِنَّ الَّذِينَ كَفَرُوا بِآيَاتِ اللَّهِ لَهُمْ عَذَابٌ شَدِيدٌ. Then he says, Wallahu azizun zun intikam. So God is saying here, he has revealed the book to you in truth, confirming what was before it. So he brings the like of the verse before in the previous sense. He will bring the kitab which confirms what is in the past. So that is the like of it, just like it. Or he brings something better. That's why the Quran somehow brings information that people are trying to twist in other books. So the Quran will now bring something better. Do you understand the point I'm making? So now God says what was before it, as he revealed the Torah and the gospel before as guidance. So the Torah and the gospel were to serve as guidance before for the people. And he revealed the criterion, that's Furqan. Indeed, those who disbelieve in the verses of God will have a severe punishment, for God is mighty with vengeance. So now going back to Quran chapter 2, verse 106. Siddik was talking about context, but he never used a context. He quoted the verse to lie, and we are going to catch him red-handed. So God says, whatever we transcribe of a sign, the word transcribe, nansakha here is not about abrogation. And if in order to understand it's not about abrogation, check here. Start from 105, and I'm going to read to 108. You see the instance. Neither those who disbelieve among the people of the book, just like I showed you, God revealed book in the past, right? Neither those who disbelieve among the people of the book nor the polytheists wish that any good should be sent down to you from your Lord. Any good. That's why the book was sent to Muhammad alayhi salam. But God specifies his mercy to whomever he wills, for God possesses great favor. Then you go, whatever we transcribe of a sign, that is of a verse. Remember, Quran chapter 7, verse 145. Right? And Quran chapter 7, verse 154, God transcribed on the tablet for Musa alayhi salam. Where God told him, "Khuz ma ataituka wa kun mina shakirin." Take what I have given you and be of those who are grateful. God wrote for him on the tablet. Then after him, the people now wrote on their in the sheets of paper, karatisa, Quran chapter 6, verse 91. Then they concealed much of it while exposing some of it on the papers. But what happened is, then God says, whatever we transcribe. So in order to understand, it's talking about transcription. Go to Quran chapter 7, verse 154. As you see, Quran chapter 45, verse 29 is about transcription. That is the root word. It's not talking about abrogation. If it's abrogation, you will see the word illa. You will never see any negation in this verse where it says illa. There's no exception here. So whatever we transcribe of a sign or cause it to be forgotten, we bring one better than it or the like of it. Do you not know that God is capable of all things? Then we go 107. Do you not know that to God belongs the dominion of the heavens and the earth, and you have no guardian nor helper besides God? Then it continues. Or do you intend to ask your messenger, as Moses was asked before, but whoever exchanges the faith for disbelief, then he has strayed from the straight way. So do you want to ask your messenger as Moses was asked? Moses was given the tablet by God. God wrote everything for him there, right? So are you going to ask Muhammad to bring the same? That's why Quran chapter 6, verse 7 is telling us that had God revealed a book in a sheet of paper coming from the sky and people saw it with their eyes and touched it, they will say this is sorcery. Quran chapter 6, verse 7. That's why he didn't reveal the Quran in the same way he gave to Moses. So now he was telling the people, or do you intend to ask your messenger, as Moses was asked before? That is the purpose of the verse. So Siddik is going to lie, and he's lying. We caught him red-handed. So now let's go back to Siddik the bozo.
Same or something equal to that. So indeed, there is abrogation that occurred during the time of the Prophet Sallallahu.
That's a lie. There is no abrogation in the Quran. Remember, God says in Quran chapter 2, verse 2, there is no doubt in the Quran. So if you say there's abrogation, that means something is doubtful. We cannot use it again. It has been cancelled. If it is cancelled, no need for us to use it now. That becomes doubtful, because if somebody is going to use it for any judgment today, we will say, hey, this verse has been cancelled. It's doubtful. We cannot use it. You see the mushriks, they bring the concept from their garbage books into the words of God, trying to deviate people.
Alayhi wasallam. And then Aisha radiallahu anha, she said, and this was replaced. You've taken the hadith I was reading from that Quran, that this is there, and you go and it is not there. That is when you have a case.
That's the case. I repeat his statement again.
12 verses from the Quran, that this is there, and you go and it is not there. That is when you have a case.
You see, Nana Aisha clearly said in the hadith, Quran. She said it was a reveal of the Quran. We believe the Quran is complete. Nothing was taken out. Nana Aisha is still telling you from the hadith that it has been abrogated and replaced. And now, according to your own scholars, if something is abrogated, doesn't mean it is taken out of the Quran. The verse has to still be in the Quran. Even if there's an abrogation, the verse doesn't have to be wiped out. So if your hadith is saying the verse has been revealed of the Quran, and even before the Prophet died, it's being recited, then where is the verse? We don't find it. We don't see breastfeeding of adults in the Quran. We don't see it. 10 breastfeedings replaced by 5 is not there. So Siddik is lying, the bozo.
But if she is saying that about rada'a and feeding of, how do you call it, people you can marry, which was then wiped off, and we cannot marry any, we cannot marry those that are from our immediate blood, such as our children, our mothers, and our aunties, and so forth and so on. That is in Surah An-Nisa, which we can bring verses from that to talk about that. So,
and then again, he's lying. That's not how your Siddik, your scholars explain this. You say which we can bring verses from that and talk about that.
Indeed, in Surah An-Nisa, that's Quran chapter 4. Let me quickly give, let me see my time.
We are going to cross-check it
off and then check my time.
So this is where he deviated the time, right? But I'm going to cross-check him and show you the example. If you go to Quran chapter 4, verse, you read verse 23, it's talk about Rada'at. But Rada'at, when you count those number of people mentioned there, it is not 10 people. And it is not talking about being replaced by 5 people. That verse is still effective till today. It's not about 5 breastfeedings. It's not about 10 breastfeedings. So if you go and quote that in reference of your garbage book, what are you trying to do, Siddik? Your scholars never did this. So what are you trying to do? But listen to Siddik the bozo.
He mentioned from the beginning that never mentioned about grown-up men. He mentioned about people we cannot marry. And that's what the Aisha has mentioned, the actual verses from the Quran, that this is there, and you go and it is not there. That is when you have a case. But if she is
started again.
Oh, sorry.
So now he was struggling to open the verse. This
Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is talking about the prevention of inheritance. I want to get the verses. Nam, that is verse 22. ولا تنكحوا ما نكح آباؤكم من الناس من النساء إلا ما قد سلف إنه كان فاحشة ومقتا وساء سبيلا حرمت عليكم أمهاتكم وبناتكم وأخواتكم وعماتكم وخالاتكم وبنات الأخ وبنات الأخت وأمهاتكم اللاتي أرضعنكم. So this verse, all that I'm reciting, which I've not even ended, Allah said, it is forbidden for you. حرمت عليكم أمهاتكم. It has been forbidden for you to marry your mothers, وَبَنَاتُكُمْ, and your children, وَأَخَوَاتُكُمْ, and then your sisters, وَعَمَّاتُكُمْ, and your aunties from your, how do you call it, your paternal side, وَخَالَاتُكُمْ, and from your maternal side, وَبَنَاتُ الْأَخْ, and your brother's children, وَبَنَاتُ الْأُخْتِ, and your sister's children, وَأُمَّهَاتُكُمُ اللَّاتِي أَرْضَعْنَكُم, and the mothers, those that breastfed you, وَأَخَوَاتُكُمْ مِنَ الرَّضَاعِ, and your sisters, that is your foster sisters, وَأُمَّهَاتُ نِسَائِكُمْ, and your mother-in-laws. So this all that I'm narrating is talking about mahram, people you cannot marry.
But it has nothing to do with the verse in your hadith book. The verse from the Quran has nothing to do with what Nana Aisha said. Nana Aisha says 10 breastfeedings was revealed, and then it was later on abrogated by 5 breastfeedings. This one you are keep mentioning this list is not about 5 breastfeedings. Nor does he talk about 5 people. But look what is happening here. I'm going to expose Siddik and show you what he was trying to do.
This hadith of Nana Aisha radiallahu anhu can be referring to this because Nana Aisha.
This hadith of Nana Aisha can be, listen what he says, can be referring, can be. But Siddik, it is not. You are trying to let it be, but Siddik, please, it is not. Siddik, the liar, bozo. Hey, Bushiriki. Let me play. I feel like crying here.
I feel like crying, eh?
I love Bushiriki.
not specify. So when it comes to breastfeeding of mahram, breastfeeding of people that you can marry, and you, how do you call it? Those that you can marry. This verse indeed talk about how do you call it? The issue of the hadith. If that
when a person is lying, you always hear This guy says he has studied English, he knows English, and he's a graduate. Remember that.
is what you mean. But in the issue of breastfeeding grown-up people, we did not find that in the text of Imam Muslim.
It says the feeding of grown-up people. We do not find that in the text of Imam Muslim, meaning Sahih Muslim. I just put it on the screen for you. You saw in the text, feeding of a grown-up person. Let me show you again, in case you didn't see it, so that you see it clearly and see that Siddik the bozo is a bad liar, the worst liar of our time, right? Let me show you on the screen. Fast. Here is it. Siddik bozo, Siddik the criminal liar, university graduate indeed. You can only do that in Ghana. Siddik, don't start that at all. This is Sahih Muslim. Ladies and gentlemen, let me show you so that you see that this is talking about Sahih Muslim book. Look at here. This is the beginning of the page. Do you see Sahih Muslim? Can you see it clearly? This is Sahih Muslim, right? Imam Abdul Hussein Muslim. Here is on the page. You see it clearly? I hope you can see it, right? That is his name. And then you go straight to page. I take you to the page here. I take you to the verse. The verse number is 3600. We jump straight to it here. When we go straight, I highlight it for you, and then I go like this. You see, the prophet said, breastfeed him. She said, how can I breastfeed him? He is a grown man. This is the Arabic version here. Let me scroll it for you. Here, when the prophet said clearly, Fakala Nabiyu, Ardihi, that is breastfeed him. Then she says, Kalat, wa kaifa, you see it? Urdiuhu here. How can I breastfeed him? Wahuwa here, wahuwa rajulun kabir, and he is a grown-up man. How can I breastfeed him? Then the prophet, fatabassama Rasulullahi. Yeah, you see here, fatabassama Rasulullahi. The prophet is now saying, waqala. And then he says, kad alimtu annahu rajulun kabir. That certainly I know that he is a grown-up man, but he's still telling her to breastfeed him. And this bozo is sitting here telling us you do not find that in the book of Sahih Muslim. So Siddik, a liar.
Breastfeeding, in terms of breastfeeding, those that you can marry or you cannot marry, then Namaisha is saying that at a time, point in time, during the time of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, there were verses that are actually permitting that, and they were abrogated. I think I used some minutes of my time already.
So there were actually verses, but we don't find it in the Quran, and they were later abrogated.
And therefore, I'll spare this time here. And I hope I have answered the question.
He never answered the question. Now look what is going to happen. Siddik, can you the timer, you take it away, right? And then you put
what do you want me to do? Should I put the...
Remember, we are doing the cross-examination. Cross-examination, this is the meaning of cross-examination. Here, I needed 2 minutes to address his answer. But look what Siddik is going to do. And I'll show you the meaning of cross-examination. The university graduate doesn't know the meaning of cross-examination. Watch.
Hadith back.
That particular hadith. Now, the one you said you've answered. Let's go back. Put the hadith again on the screen.
Okay, so that's your first question anyway. You have exhausted one question. If you have another question, then we move on.
Now, this is the rules of the debate. Here's the rule. The rule number 6, one can plead for extra 2 minutes added time to finish a point if needed. That is for the cross-examination. So at the cross-examination, based on the rules we have on the screen, we are at the cross-examination section, right? The cross-examination section, that was supposed to be 30 minutes, where it is a back and forth recap by questioning the sources. Cross-examination. Now, I'm going to put you on the screen the meaning of cross-examination. Check it clearly. Siddik doesn't understand what we were there to do. So this is cross-examination. Cross-examination, close questioning of a hostile witness in a court of law to discredit or throw a new light on the testimony already provided in direct examination. So in direct examination, what did Siddik do? Siddik actually tried to bring his evidence, his testimony, and already he has provided that. So now I have to cross-examine him by that extra 2 minutes, by shedding a new light. So you saw the meaning, to shed a new light, to throw a new light on the testimony already provided. So the testimony already provided, what I needed that 2 minutes to do was to show the evidence from the Sahih Muslim book to hold Siddik by his own words that he's actually the liar. So watch what Siddik is going to do. We said there will be cross-examination, right?
Yeah. Meaning, so and because one question at a time. So and you asked one. So
what? Okay. Now what happens now? Am I supposed to say something regarding your answer or what?
Okay, we didn't discuss about that, but if you want to say something, we can say 2 minutes will be okay for that.
Okay, so you can put the 2 minutes there. So that is the 2 minutes here. Number 6, one complete for extra 2 minutes added time to finish a point if needed. So I was coming to finish the point by cross-examining Siddik. Now listen to what Siddik is going to do to me here. That 2 minutes, listen, you can see. And you share for me the hadith on the, oh, sorry. Right. Share me the hadith.
I've placed it here. So why don't you go ahead, inshallah? So you said you've shared it.
Yeah. So now, this is, the hadith has an extension from the 3,597. It comes out to 3,600. You see it? So ladies and gentlemen, on the screen, you see it clearly here, put there, that it says the prophet said, breastfeed him. She said, how can I breastfeed him? He is a grown man. Now, in the context of their hadith books, if you take the hadith chain of narration, they put it into sequence.
Okay, Baba, for the sake of honesty, is it the first hadith you presented?
Now look at the point. He's telling me, is it the first hadith you presented? Now listen what he's going to do to me.
Or this is the second hadith?
Now in the same lane. Isn't the same lane?
Not same lane, not same lane.
Now look at this. I'm going to play a video by Siddik. Look at the explanation of Siddik. In terms of hadith books, you don't just use one hadith reference. You have to accumulate all the hadith references that make sense to draw the conclusion. So look, I'm going to play his video. Listen what Siddik said.
In Bukhari and Muslim, in the Kutub al-Sitta, there says books, we call it famous books of hadith, not authentic books of hadith, the 6 famous. Okay, you'll find the prayers being narrated in it. And what we do with the Quran, both the Quran and the hadith, is what we call jam'ul ayati fi mawdi' al-wahid. And that's the first thing. For you to bring a hukum from something, a judgment from something, you need to bring the relative verses of the Quran together. For example, zakah. You need to bring all the verses of zakah together so that you'll be able to explain them accordingly. And then also the ahadith of zakah together. So we have something called jam'ul ahadith fi mawdi' al-wahid, and it's the same thing to the Quran. Okay, you don't just pick a Quranic verse and then make issue out of it. Just like the Quraniyun, they do this sect. They call some people sects and they leave themselves. Okay, just like they pick on one verse and they will intentionally say that they're picking from other verses. Anyway, so that is how the hadith is dealt with. There's hadith that narrates from where to start from takbir and then end with taslim. Okay, but where you want, okay, so why didn't the hadith mention surah here? Why didn't the hadith mention Subhana Rabbiyal A'la? We say we do Jam'ul Ahadith. We gather all the hadith in one place and then it is being explained accordingly. So
thank you, Scholar Siddik. So we gather all the hadiths and then draw the conclusion. So you don't need to just use one hadith to draw a conclusion. So I was about to use a second hadith to draw the conclusion and then make the thing clear for the audience. Look at what Siddik, how he deflated the question.
The hadith you were talking, hadith Nana Aisha, where we read up to, and you were saying that is where the grown-up man.
Yeah,
I'm saying
that hadith. No, wait. The one I quoted is 3,597. Listen.
So let's take to that. Don't move to a next hadith.
Yeah, but wait.
That when if you are asking this hadith question on this hadith, then it will be a different question then.
No, I'm not asking you a question. No. I'm not asking you.
Okay, so use the first one, and that is what I made my comment on. So go back to that one, and if this we will discuss this one later. So because people will understand this to be the first.
He said we will discuss this one later. When? Siddik doesn't want to be cross-examined. He doesn't understand the meaning of cross-examination. And this is what he clearly told us. Listen.
And I've studied English. I'm a graduate, so I know English.
but he doesn't know the meaning of cross-examination. Subhanallah. Hasbunallah wa ni'mal wakil.
First one.
Siddik,
Okay.
the first one I quoted, it mentioned a person in the translation.
Okay. So let's
So what I'm saying, wait.
Then this would be a different thing. I thought you
But
were
the
going to
question
make...
I asked, how is it different? We are talking about rada'at, breastfeeding, an adult. You said I lied to the audience. I didn't lie. I'm trying to shed a new light. That is what cross-examination means. You made a testimony. I have to bring a new light to prove you wrong.
Comment.
The question
I thought you were going to make comment on the... You see, people, this would deceive people to think that, how do you call it? This is the hadith you were using before.
How can it deceive people? How? Hey.
Oh.
No,
So
Siddik, wait.
hadith.
You don't get my point. You have made an explanation going to a verse which doesn't talk about anything concerning the hadith.
Yeah, Rajul, just go back to the hadith you were using. This, we'll talk about this one later. We are focusing on one thing at a time.
Listen to me.
At a time.
The answer you were giving me has nothing to do with the hadith I gave you.
See, go back to that hadith then and talk about that. Don't move to a next hadith. We'll talk about everything.
No, okay, so what was the 2 minutes for?
I thought you said you were going to say something about what we are discussing about that. The hadith.
Yes, it's the same issue. It doesn't change. It's not about
not issue. The hadith, not issue. The hadith on which you asked the question. So
Siddik,
go back one thing at a time,
Siddik,
please.
You know what?
One thing at a time.
The audience are clear now. They understood it's talking about
exactly.
They can see it.
Exactly.
Is that how you are? University graduate and a lecturer at the University of Ghana, they have to demote you. Seriously. You're proud saying you studied.
And I've studied English. I'm a graduate, so I know English.
You don't know English. It's embarrassing. University of Ghana, if you're watching him as your tutor, no. It's embarrassing. Let's move again to Siddik the bozo. Let's go to the next video, right? His next video, let me take this one out, remove this one out, right? Then I put the next video. So the next video is cross-examination number 2, right? And I'll try to... Three hadiths talking about stoning to death, right? Stoning to death. Now, this stoning to death, one can be found in Sahih al-Bukhari 2695 concerning giving lashes to somebody who commits zina and then ban them for 1 year, right? Then another one in Sahih al-Bukhari 6829, which talk about stoning to death. Then Sahih al-Bukhari 6825, which talk about stoning to death for somebody who has committed sexual indecency. So, for instance, one of the hadiths where it's narrated by Abu Huraira, out of these 3 I quoted, one of the hadiths quoted by Abu Huraira, Umar said, I'm afraid that after a long time has passed, people may say we do not find the verses of what? Rajam, that is stoning to death, in the Quran. And consequently, they may go astray by leaving an obligation that Allah has revealed. Lo, I am convinced that the penalty of Rajam, what? No, wait. The time shouldn't be for me. It's for you when you're answering the question. Book of God, which is about stoning to death, to stone somebody. But we don't find such a verse in the Quran till date. So what happens? Lo, I confirm that the penalty of Rajam be inflicted on him who commits illegal sexual intercourse, if he is already married and the crime is proved by witnesses or pregnancy or confession. So Sufyan added, I have memorized this narration in this way. Umar added, surely Allah's messenger carried out the penalty of Rajam, and so did we after him. So this is the allegation in the Hadith book, right? So now, I want to ask Siddik that if somebody actually commits adultery whilst being married and commits adultery, according to your Hadith books, the person has to be stoned to death. So now, according to Quran chapter 4, verse 25, if you have somebody who is a mamalakat aymani, who has been possessed, whom your rights and possess, which the sectarians will normally translate as slave. That is not a slave. According to what we know from the Quran, it doesn't say slave there. But the sectarians will say a slave. Okay, so this is the question. If this person, God is talking about this lady, this young lady, that your right hands possess among your young women, believing women, if she commits any unfaithful act, meaning she does any immoral act, according to God, that the punishment is half of a believing woman. So now I want to ask, if she's married and she commits the zina, and then you are going to punish her the stoning to death, how is the half punishment going to be done? And your hadith is claiming it is in the book of God. Why can't we find such a verse for that punishment? That is my. So, ladies and gentlemen, do you see the simplicity of my question? I'm a correctional officer. So I ask you questions, even though it's simple in eloquence, I try to entrap you. Siddik trying to be a smart ass. Again, look what he's trying to do. Question.
Okay, so you see what I did was when I was going to ask you the question, I posted what I want to ask the question on, and then I asked for it to be clear to everyone. So inshallah, post the hadith, and then inshallah for everyone to see.
Yeah, we're going to post it. No problem.
Did you hear me? Can you hear me?
So I was trying to tell him.
I can't hear you. So check your.
Yeah, I put it for you. Yeah, so here I'll go. Here I put it to save time because we're already killing time. So I have to put it.
Okay, so based on that, you ask your question so that it will be clear for everyone, just like I did mine.
Yeah. Do you see the hadith?
Yeah, I put it on the screen. So read the hadith for everyone to hear. Based on that, you ask your question.
No, I've already asked you the question. So you tell me if it's not there or not.
No, I'm saying that. So read this is the question. So read it for people to hear. Base your question.
And why should I be the one to read it in the first place? I'm only a questioner. I'm asking you a question. So you, the Siddik, who is going to give clarity to the people, what should you have done? You could have just started reading it yourself, just reading, cross-checking, and then you will bring up the answer. But look here, this is what he's trying to do. I just told you. No, wait. I just asked you a question. Wait. I just asked you a question. And I just read it. No, wait, Siddik.
I'm waiting. But I'm asking you, is your question based on the hadith?
Yes, it's based on the hadith.
So read the hadith for everyone to hear.
Yeah, I just read it. When I was reading, you didn't hear?
You didn't read this very one, the text, the Arabic text.
You see his argument? Based on the Arabic text. Read Arabic. Read Arabic. Were we trying to do Arabic reading competition there? Or was the debate actually about reading Arabic text? Huh?
From the source we are quoting. So read it for everyone to hear. You didn't read this one. So read
I'm asking you a question. No, wait. I'm asking you a question. I can read it for you. But I'm asking the question, first of all, if it's not there, tell me it's not there. That's number one.
The question is based on the hadith. So read the hadith and base your question on it. Simple as that.
Okay. Now, look. No problem. Because I didn't want to submit to his rules, his instruction fully, you see the game I play with him. This is the hadith on the screen, ladies and gentlemen. So he says, Haddathana Aliyun ibn Abdullah, Haddathana Sufyan. You see, when you are reading the hadith from the Arabic version, when they translate in English version, they don't put all these names I kept reading, right? From the Arabic version. They don't put it there, right? And in Zuhri, now you don't see the Zuhri, you don't see Sufyan, you don't see Ali in the English version. This is their scholars translating here. Then an Ubaidillah. So from Zuhri coming from Ubaidillah, then he says an Ibn Abbas. Then he goes to from the son of Ibn Abbas. Then he says radiyallahu anhuma, both of them. Qala Umar. Then now Umar says. So you said narrated Ibn Abbas. Then he goes. Then he says Umar said. Then it goes. Lakad. Here, this is the hadith. Lakad hashitu an yatula bin nas. Zamanun hatta yakula qa'il. Then he says la najidu rajma fi kitabillah. That we don't see the rajm, the stoning, in the book of God. Fayadillu bitarki faridatin anzalaha anzalaha Allah. So here the hadith is saying that la najidu rajma fi kitabillah. We don't see. Okay. So now let me go over and explain the point. So the hadith is saying, this is because I want to use that part to ask the question. And then the clarity was supposed to come from he, Siddik, not me. I'm just a questioner. This clarity doesn't have to come from me because I'm not the one answering. He has to bring clarity to the audience. So when I was asking him the question, I read the part I want to use to ask the question. So that he was supposed to read all the hadiths and bring clarity. Listen how Siddik, the game is going to play. The Rajma in the book of law. فَيَدِلُّ بِتَرْكِ فَرِيدَةٍ أَنزَلَهَا la, meaning now they don't see what yidillu, they go astray and leave it behind, that since God hasn't revealed that as in the book, the people will abandon that, just as the translation is saying. Now when you take this part, I'm asking Siddik, now the main part of the issue was left down there, but because I don't want to follow Siddiq's orders by reading all the hadiths, this is what I do. I chose the part I liked, but then the other part of the hadith, which is stated down on the screen, you see where it says waqad rajama rasulullahi. It says there. Let me put it on the screen so that you see it here. I put it on the screen. Oh, sorry. Here. The same hadith I put on the screen for him. I didn't read all. I don't have time reading all the garbages there. I would rather read the Quran instead of the garbage book. But this is what happened. So when I chose the part where it says La najidu rajma fi kitabillah here, fayadillu bitarkin faridatin anzalahallah here. I read it, then I went back to the translation. So I'm choosing the part I want to use to ask him the question. Then when you go down part at the end of the hadith, then he says, Umar added, surely Allah's messenger carried out the penalty of Rajam, and so did we after him, meaning according to Umar, which means it's a revelation from God. And then the Prophet did it too. And they also did it. They did the Rajma. So when you come to the down part of the hadith in Arabic language, here, it says, Allah wa qad rajama Rasulullah. Here it says. Then it says, wa rajamna. Wa rajamna ba'adahu. It says clearly in the Arabic language. So if it is not in the revelation, why would the messenger do it? And if it is there, why can't we find it in the Quran? This was my question. I don't need to read all the hadiths to ask the question. But look at how Siddik would deflate the question. Check out the game Siddik played with this hadith. It says clearly that Umar was saying that there has been revealed the verse of stoning in the book of God. But some people will come and go astray from it, saying that we do not find it in the book of God. So I read the translation here, where it's now, this is the question I posed. Because according to the hadith, it clearly shows that according to Umar, meaning it has been revealed because the messenger did it. Why would the messenger do what God never asked him? Or why would the messenger put up a law or judgment which is not part of the legislation of God? Quran chapter 13 verse 37, God says he has given the prophet an Arabic judgment. It is in the Quran. Quran chapter 13 verse 37. And God asked him to follow that. Quran chapter 45 verse 18, God says he has given him a Sharia in the Quran that he has to follow. So now if your hadith, Umar is now saying that he is afraid that there are some people who come and then they say they didn't find the verse of Rajam, because now we don't find it in the Quran where God says we should stone somebody to death. It's not there. But if Umar in the hadith is claiming the prophet actually did it and he, Umar, and the believers actually stoned somebody, then where is the revelation? Which means it means a revelation was there, right? So that was based on my question. Now look at what Siddik was going to do. Says here, Umar said, I am afraid that after a long time has passed, people may say, we do not find in the verses of the what? The verses of the Rajam in the book of God. This is Allah's book. And consequently, they may go astray by leaving an obligation that Allah has revealed. So now, according to you, Siddik, if there is that verse of stoning, do you see? Do you see what Umar said? Allah has revealed. So it has to be in the Quran. If it has revealed, we should find it. The stoning, it should be in the Quran, according to the claims of Umar. Now listen what Siddik is going to do. In the Quran, that Umar is claiming. This is your Sahih Bukhari hadith. And now I just ask you a question. According to Quran chapter 4, verse 25, if this woman who is possessed by Malakat Ayman, and then this lady commits adultery, God says she should get half of the punishment. This half of the punishment, if it is by rajm, stoning to death, then how can this lady be punished half according to your hadith? And tell me which verse of the Quran this hadith explains. Simple question. Do you understand? So if indeed Umar, the claim he made that there is a rajam, which the Salafiyas and the other Sunni groups, they still do. They stone people to death. Even in Nigeria, you say they did to somebody. They stone people to death, right? So if this is a revelation and you claim the Prophet even did it, which the hadith clearly says, but you see, Siddik is not going to read all the hadiths to explain. Look how he's going to deviate the question. Thank you.
Okay, so guys, as you can see, the hadith, which I'm going to read from the Arabic, I intentionally do this for this brother in humanity to be clearly exposed of the things he says, that he has no clue, even in the Arabic language, no clue, he has no clue. You see, he continuously go back to what has been translated. I don't know who made that translation.
Siddik, anyways. He still says he doesn't know who made that translation. Muhammad Muhsin Khan. I just told you who is. Muhammad Muhsin Khan. Hey, Siddik. Hey, can you go to the point?
I didn't interrupt you when you were talking.
No, go to the point. We said no personal attack.
Just leave that. Leave that. When you were doing personal attack, was I talking?
Where did I do personal attack to Siddik in the debate? Siddik says when I was doing personal attack. Where did I do personal attack? So I said, stop the personal attack. Let's stick to the topic. Go to the answer. Give me the answer because we have wasted time already. Now look.
Why is it difficult
where
for
did I
you
do personal attack? When?
So just leave it. Leave it for me. That's my time. So leave it.
So I should leave him to do personal attack. This is what he said. But I don't have time. You remember I'm a human being, right? I have a family. So go straight to the point.
So let me quickly put on back the hadith to expose the ignorance once again. Sayyidina Umar radiallahu anhu did never say.
Instead of going back to read all the hadiths, he didn't. Watch what he's going to do.
There's this verse in the Quran. He said.
You see?
And I'm reading from the Arabic. خشيت أن يطول بالناس زمان حتى يقول قائل لا نجد الرجم في كتاب الله. He says that I'm scared for a generation to come that someone they will be roaming around saying that rajm that you are doing meaning stoning to death. We never found that in the Quran. Rajm means stoning. That we never found that in the Quran, and therefore, since we never find that, therefore that should be rejected. And this is in the accordance of another hadith of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam.
Did he give us the hadith? Did he mention the reference? Another hadith of the Prophet? Where is it? No. He was supposed to read all the hadiths and tell us what it says. Now look.
Time will come when some people will claim that ma wajadtum fil Qur'ani halalan fahilluhu wa ma wajadtum harama faharrimuhu. Anything you find, a time will come when people will say that stick to the Quran alone. Whatever you find in the Quran as haram, make it haram. Whatever you find as halal, make it halal. This is what the hadith and the hadith says, that some people will come. So this hadith is an evidence against you and not for you.
This hadith is an evidence against me and not for me. Siddik, are you okay in the head? This hadith is against me and not for me. This is about rajam. How is it against me? Do you see how he deflated my question? And he didn't read all the verse in the hadith. He didn't finish. You watch the manipulation.
Hadith is saying that this is the time that will come, that people will say that because we did not find this in the Quran, we did not find Zuhur, Asr, Maghrib, Isha in the Quran. Therefore,
why are we talking about Maghrib, Isha, Zuhur? Rajam is not about Zuhur, Maghrib, Isha.
Don't do it. We did not find Rajm in the Quran, and therefore don't do it. And
they still do the Rajam, and we still don't find it in the Quran.
What the hadith is saying. Sayyidina Umar, you were a liar by saying that Sayyidina Umar said this is in the Quran.
He went name calling again. He says, I'm a liar by saying that Sayyidina Umar says this is Nakok. Sayyidina Umar clearly said it was a revelation. I'm going to show you on the screen again. When you read the hadith, this is the hadith. Yeah? This is where it says Sayyidina Umar actually said that it was a revelation. Here, check the screen. When the people says La najidu rajma fi kitabillah, this is what the people will say. We don't believe in the garbage books because we don't see stoning in the book of God. Then Umar says, فَيَدِلُّ بِتَرْكٍ فَرِيدَةٍ أَنزَلَهَا اللَّهُ. So this is what Umar said. فَيَدِلُّ, so they will go astray. بِتَرْكٍ فَرِيدَةٍ أَنزَلَهَا اللَّهُ. So here, obligation that Allah has revealed. Do you see what Umar said? This is the translation on the page. We do not find the verses of Rajam in the book of God. This is what the Arabic says. Do you see it here? In Arabic, it says, لَقَدْ خَشِيتُ أَنْ يَتُولَ بِالنَّاسِ زَمَانٌ حَتَّى يَقُولَ قَائِلٌ. Then he says, لَا نَجِدُ رَجْمَ فِي كِتَابِ اللَّهِ. We do not find stoning in the book of God. That's what the English says here. We do not find the verses of Rajam in the book of God. And then Umar went ahead by saying what? This is what Umar said. And consequently, they may go astray by leaving an obligation that Allah has revealed. If Allah has revealed, we should find it in the Quran. So that is what Umar intended. That is the meaning of what Umar was saying. That is why Umar finished the statement in Arabic here. When these people say, he says, فَيَدِلُّ بِتَرْكٍ فَرِيدَةٍ أَنزَلَهَا اللَّهُ, meaning God has actually revealed the verse, the issue of stoning. And God only revealed only one revelation, according to Quran chapter 47, verse 2. That was only one revelation given to Muhammad. وَآمَنُوا بِمَا نُزِّلَ عَلَى مُحَمَّدٍ وَهُوَ الْحَقِّ. Huwa means a masculine pronoun. One book, one Quran, nothing else. Quran chapter 17, verse 72. غَيْرَهُ لِتَفْتَرِيَ عَلَيْنَا غَيْرَهُ. Who means masculine pronoun. So I was using this to question you, Siddik. Instead of reading all the hadiths, he didn't do. But this is where he went on the rampage, right? See what it kept doing.
People will say that this is not in the Quran, and therefore we do not find this in the Quran, therefore don't do it. So this is another expose for you. This hadith is for you and never for you. So this again, we have stated that.
So this is hadith against me and not for me. Oh, Siddik. That's why I call you a bozo. You are indeed a bozo. University of Ghana, hashtag university, kindly tag University of Ghana. This guy is oh, I don't know the words to use for him.
Topic of the day is that the hadith explains the Quran. When a Quranic verse comes with a narrative.
Okay, so that's how he deflated my question. He didn't answer my question. Then he jumped to another topic, started. So now let's go to the last part, right? We are finished with this one. We've seen his lies, right? You see how he deviated from the question. And he didn't answer my question. There is no verse of stoning in the Quran, but Umar was the lying one. But Siddik is embarrassed to answer my question. He can't answer my question, so he has to lie against me and say, "Oh, you don't understand Arabic. You don't." Okay, no problem. Let's go. So the last one. So now I'm going to play Siddik's last video. The Siddik the Bozo, RIP. So cross-examination number 3. This is his hadith book. Yeah. Ladies and gentlemen, we are going to see the best mathematician ever in history. And this is where the bozo got frustrated. Enjoy. According to their hadith, this is Sahih al-Bukhari.
I've not seen it. We have not seen it. Where is it?
You have to put it on the screen. I'm a questioner, so you have to put it on the screen. Widen it. Let my people see it clearly. Yes, like this. So Book of Salat. Ladies and gentlemen, you are going to enjoy this show. Okay. So here, this Book of Salat, you can see here, they say the Book of Salat, right? The prayer. Now, this is Hadith Sahih al-Bukhari 349, narrated by Abu Dhar. He said, Allah's messenger said, whilst I was at Makkah.
No, please read the text itself. Read the text itself, not translation. Read the text itself.
Siddik, listen to me carefully. So this is why I wanted to put senses in his hand and to tell him that I'm in control of myself and the show. So he was, you see, this is one of the longest hadiths they have in the hadith book. It's one of the longest verse in the hadith book. So he wanted me, a questioner, to actually read the Arabic text entirely. This garbage book, me, babashuaib. Do I look like somebody who wants to waste his time to read this garbage? So Siddik wanted me to read all the things in Arabic there, as if we are coming to do Arabic reading competition. So this is the punishment I did. I actually made him read. I told him, you have to read it. I only did that to punish him. And I did it. I got him when he read it. But he didn't read all, unfortunately. But this was the question. I was trying to read the English because 90% of our audience were English speakers and English discerning viewers.
So I had to read the English to show them the mess up in the garbage book. So I intentionally also did that to frustrate Siddik, and it worked marvelously. So watch. Questioner, you don't tell me how to question you. Listen to logic.
We are dealing with the hadith. What you are reading is not hadith.
Show
what you are
me-
reading is translation.
Now Siddik is telling me what I'm reading is not hadith. This is Muhammad Muhsin Khan's translation. And let me show you on the screen again. Muhammad Muhsin Khan. This is the translation. I'm going to share it on the screen. Then you see it, right? Let me share it on the screen. Here. This is translation of the meanings of Sahih al-Bukhari, Arabic and English, volume 8, translation, translated by Dr. Muhammad Muhsin Khan. I already told him told you who he is. Approved by Darussalam, by Saudi Arabia. They actually approved his translation. Is approved by Saudi Arabia. Let's continue. Rules where we said somebody.
Is it not hadith you are reading?
I said, Siddik, listen to logic here. Show me
There's no logic in what you are doing.
Rules. Show me in the rules where it says I must read your hadith book in Arabic. Tell me.
The hadith is Arabic. The hadith is Arabic.
I said show me in the rules.
We didn't also say that we are going to read translation.
So if it is not in the rules that by force I have to read Arabic, or it's not even by force to read translation, and I choose to read translation to ask you a question, what is the problem? Or who am I trying to impress that I can read your garbage book? Does it make sense at all? To impress who? Your audience, the mushriks? Oh, no. Babashuaib is not there for the mushriks. I'm there to impress the other fellow believers. Because remember, brothers are allies. We are allies, the believers. We are allies of each other. So I'm there to present this argument for people who are willing to know what the garbage book normally says. That's why I read the English. Do you understand? The Bukhari, Imam Bukhari he's talking about is not an Arabian. He's a Persian coming from a city called Bukhara. He's from modern day Uzbekistan. He's a Persian, not an Arabian. Right? Good. So let's go. I'm a questioner. Are you going to teach me how to question you?
Is the translation hadith? Is the translation a hadith?
Siddik, are you going to teach me how to question you?
You are questioning me on the hadith and you are not saying the hadith. I'm not.
Can you shut your... Do you see how Siddik kept interrupting? Unprofessional. He's an amateur. He's a kid. Siddik is actually a kid. That's why I keep tagging him bozo. Maybe you might not understand me. It's a bozo. That's an incompetent fool. You think I'm insulting him? No. Because he's a proud Salafi. Quran chapter 2 verse 130. God says, وَمَنْ يَرْغَبُ عَنْ مِلَّةِ إِبْرَاهِيمَ إِلَّا مَنْ سَفِيهَ نَفْسَهُ. Who would desire other than the creed of Abraham, if not one who fools himself? Siddik is proudly Salafiyah. What does that make him? A fool. That's what God says. If you're fooling yourself, what does that make you? A fool. So when I call Siddik bozo, don't think I'm just using words out of context or trying to... No. He's a definition of bozo. Let me talk. Let me finish my question.
Okay, the simple guy, as you can see, he cannot read the Arabic again.
No problem. I've never been to school, ladies and gentlemen. I cannot read. Let the wise decide for themselves. We have already done about 2 hours debate. And I was reading verses from the Quran and all over. Even the hadith, in the 2 questions I asked him, I read the hadith before asking him questions. So why is it that the last question I have to ask you, you have to make a sin by telling people, he cannot read Arabic? So what was I doing all this while when we were doing the debate? Was I actually singing or was I reading Chinese? To read the comedy book, see it for yourself. Can you mute your mic, please?
He cannot read. So continue with your
translation.
I don't believe that is the hadith. So
no problem.
I don't believe what you are reading is hadith. So you can't ask me a question on that.
When you come, you read it to your people and then tell them if I'm lying. Can you mute your mic? Let me make my point.
Go ahead.
Okay. So their own translation is translated by their own Sunni scholar Muhsin Khan, right? Muhammad Muhsin Khan. This is a translation. So when he comes to answer, let him read all these jumbles here and explain it. So now this is here. Narrated by Abu Dhar, he says, Allah's messenger said, this is God forbid. God's messenger will never say this garbage thing here. Wallahi lazim. Now, the reason why I went to the extent to use the word comedy and to use the word garbage was he actually was interrupting me, trying to get off my nerves. So now I have to use a tactic to use a particular word that will trigger him,
So I didn't use any direct word to Siddik, like to insult him direct or to, mock him that. No. So I have to trigger Siddiq's senses. So I use the word comedy and garbage. So now look at his reaction after I used such words. Look how he reacts.
Go ahead with
While
your, go
I
ahead.
was
You
at
are not
Mecca-
lecturing. You are not lecturing. Go ahead with your question.
I'm going to ask you a question. I'm reading the
So ask
question.
the question and stop lecturing.
Siddik, why are you interrupting me? I don't
You
understand.
are lecturing instead of asking a question. So that is it. Ask your
Siddik, you
question
came
and stop
preaching
lecturing.
instead of a debate. You were preaching earlier when
So
we
go
started.
ahead. Simple. Go ahead with the question. Go ahead.
Hey,
Go ahead.
Jama, look at what is going on here.
You have the platform. Go ahead with the question.
But Siddik,
stop
don't
lecturing.
interrupt me.
So go ahead with the question. I will
Hey.
interrupt you if you deviate. That is part of the
Are
rule.
you upset with the hadith or me?
Go ahead, ask question and don't give lecture.
I feel like crying, eh?
I love you.
So read.
Please mute your mic for the sake of argument. When you are
No,
talking,
read.
I mute my mic. Can you mute your mic?
Read. Go ahead.
Siddik,
I'm not talking.
mute your mic.
It is said in the rules, simple, that when you deviate, you'll be brought back to
Siddik,
correction.
mute your mic.
That is not part of the rule. So read.
Subhanallah. Siddik is upset with the hadith. Okay. I wonder. Allah, Siddik. Siddik was just like a kid when he got to this part. He was just like a kid. Because I was playing with his nerves, like I was playing with his, head. Conscious. You saw how I got him frustrated. Because I want to tell him that I'm a professional at doing this. I've done debates publicly. I've handled people like Ridwan, that crazy guy from Morocco. I've handled heebie-jeebies people. I know how to handle people. You saw my composure. That's why I do correctional officers then. You saw how I handle people. And people keep writing me and say, you are too patient. We don't like that. Try to be aggressive. No, this is me, babashuaib. The correctional officer doesn't need to rush. Handle them with logic. And that's why I will beat them with logic. Now, I frustrated him finally. Now, let's go. Then he brought a golden tree full of wisdom. So I read it. These people are telling us he's the best of creation. Somebody ordinary is now commanding Muhammad to go back.
Are you lecturing or you're asking a question? Go ahead and ask the question.
This is your hadith.
Go
you
ahead.
Asked me to read. No, you asked me to read.
Then you are lecturing. So go ahead and read.
I'm reading. He says I'm lecturing. So I was actually doing that to frustrate him. And it worked perfectly. I'm serious. I did that to frustrate Siddik. And it worked. Because I can just choose a part from the hadith and then ask him the question. So I decided to read the English entirely because I know most of my audience, 90% didn't understand Arabic. So I have to read English. Maybe it's first time for some audience to know. Because remember, atheists were watching, agnostic were watching, Christians were watching, because most of them don't understand Arabic. So I have to go to the English part, read this part, frustrate Siddik whilst the audience are watching. So University of Ghana, hashtag University of Ghana. If you are also watching, this is what your Siddik, your lecturer, is actually propagating. This garbage book, right? So if you're watching, that's why I did that to Siddik, right? I have to read. I'm reading.
Go ahead.
You say your hadith. This is not me. It's your hadith. I have to read.
Stop lecturing. Go ahead. Wait, this one saying that Muhammad is the best. Where is it in the hadith? Go ahead and read it.
I went back to Allah and requested for reduction, and he reduced it to half. Ladies and gentlemen, for 50, when you reduce to half is what? 25. We are going to see the best mathematicians here. When I passed by Musa again and informed him about it, he said, go back to your Lord as your followers will not be able to bear it. So good. So I read it and I went to the half side. So let me show you on the screen. That's the interesting part, right? That's the part we actually stalled and Siddik was trying to change the narrative, right? Okay. Oh, sorry. Let me put the hadith here. Where is it? Sorry, I have to open it. Kindly bear with me. Let me open it here. So 349, right? So I'll put it on the screen and then we see that particular hadith that we are talking about. Abu Dhar. So I'll scroll to the part where Siddik actually wanted to lie about, right? He wanted to actually lie. So let me just share it on the screen here. And that is the hadith. So I go down where Moses was talking to Muhammad and he mentioned the shatara, right? So you see, this is the garbage hadith. You see how long it is. Siddik wanted me to read all this in Arabic. Why? Am I your slave, Siddik? Yeah, you don't respect to. You want to command correctional officers to read this garbage book? You have been sent by the wrong people to come and put me to that test. You have, Siddik, you've been sent to by the wrong people. So here you see, shatraha. This shatraha meaning half. It can mean half. It can mean portion, right? But in this context, all the scholars of the Hadith book translated it as half, half, half. All the scholars of Hadith books, even the tafsirs of Hadith books. So Siddik didn't go to the Lisan al-Arab, as he keeps saying every time, Lisan al-Arab dictionary, Lisan al-Arab. He never went there, right? So let me play the video. Siddik will finish his part. Then we see again. I requested for further reduction, and half of it was reduced again. So meaning he has not what? 12.5. So from 25, if half is reduced, it's 12.5, right? So remember clearly, I am not saying that the hadith says 25 or the hadith says 12.5 or hadith says 6.25. No, I'm just saying that since it says half from the translation, since it says half, and the word shatra actually means half. Of course, one word in Arabic can have multiple meanings, but remember, it has to do with the context, right? So the context decides what that word means. All the scholars of hadith agree that the word means half. All the scholars of hadith, they agree that the word means half. But today, Siddik is going to become his own scholar, independent from all Salafi scholars, all Sunni scholars, and he's going to decide what that word actually means, the shatra. So we'll see what Siddik was going to do. He passed by Musa, and he said to me, return to your Lord, for your followers will not be able to bear it. So I returned to Allah, and he said, these are 5 salats. So from 12.5, automatically, according to this hadith, the God of the hadith made it now 6. It's supposed to be 6.25, right? So now he made it 5. So now listen to what this God of the hadith will say, not the God of the Quran, God forbid. Listen to what he says. Then he says, these are 5 salats, and they are all equal to 50. I've never seen this kind of mathematics before. For my word does not change. And the God of this hadith again says his words does not change. Subhanallah.
I feel like crying, eh?
I love you. So Siddik was so frustrated, right? When I was doing all this. I was doing all this to get him pissed. He was pissed. After changing 50 to 5. Then he says, I replied, now I feel shy. When Musa told Muhammad to go back, now Muhammad says he feels shy. Okay. So now I did all this, and then I asked him the question. God has completed Islam at the time of Muhammad, time in the world to read it. The question goes, he should show me this hadith. He says the prophet goes to take 50 prayers and it was negotiated to 5. I want to ask him. God says in Quran chapter 5 verse 3. You see how I simplify the question? The prophet went to take the salats and it's from 50 and it was negotiated to 5. This is all I said. This is the question. Now look, al-yawma akmaltu lakum dinakum wa atmamtu alaykum ni'mati wa raditu lakum al-islam dina. So God has completed. So I quoted chapter 5 verse 3, where God says, this day I have completed your deen. Al-yawma akmaltu lakum dinakum. He completed the deen, right? Wa atmamtu alaykum ni'mati, and then completed or perfected the blessings upon them. Then he says, wa raditu lakum al-islam dina, and approved Islam as a deen for you, as a religion for you, right? So which means if Islam was completed at the time of Muhammad and the believers, which means they already have the salat with them, because we can find it in the Quran. Surah Al-Hud, chapter 11, verse 114 is there. Chapter 17, verse 78 to 79, it is already there in the Quran. So if it is completed, now listen to the question. Islam at the time of Muhammad by telling the people all in the Quran. So Siddik, you have to tell us whether this hadith, was it actually that the prophet went to collect the salat when the Quran was already there, or when Islam was already complete? And if Islam was already complete, the Quran actually have the salat there. But if Islam wasn't complete, that is, Prophet Muhammad was the one to go and bring the salats, and the salat he went to bring, there was no raka'at inside. According to the hadith, where is the raka'at? How many? Was it? How did you get the 17? Please elaborate and tell us how you got the 17, and clearly tell us which verses of the Quran does this particular hadith explain. Don't use your opinions. Give us the sources by your scholars and prove to us which verse of the Quran does this particular hadith explain. And in terms of mathematics, this hadith have flawed from 50 to have 25 to 12.5 to 6.25. It is nonsensical. So come and help us out. Which verse of the Quran does this hadith explain? You see, when I mentioned the 25, 12.5, and 6.25, this is my own words, just saying that way, based on the context of the hadith. That's why I mentioned the shatraha, right? But it wasn't part of the question. The question already ended when I finished asking the question. Then I said, what does it make sense? The shatra. So this is where Siddik is going to answer the question by basing his argument. He didn't come to answer my question. See what he's going to do. So put your time and come on board.
Okay, so I guess we all heard the question clearly. He's asking about numbers, and he was using half because he was using translation. Please don't delete the hadith. I'm going to post it. And that is why I asked him to post the hadith in Arabic and read it in Arabic. Guys, you know why? The Arabic there, which I'm going to post it, there's the Arabic there. I pray it come quickly. And please, how do you expect the time?
No.
It's different, and it was saying something different. No, said 3 hadith, which, okay, so, okay. So, again, you see he has posted 3 hadith, which are all lies. He was lying, the text is different, and he was saying something different.
Siddik, I just exposed you right now. I wasn't the liar. You were actually the liar. All the 3 hadiths, that's why we do post debate, to expose your lies. You are actually a buffoon, a bozo, and a liar. You don't deserve to be a lecturer at the University of Ghana. You are shaming University of Ghana, saying that you studied English, you are a graduate, and you know English. You don't know English. You are pathetic.
Number 1, about Nana Aisha saying that in the hadith, it said grown-up men, when it was yuhramna. And secondly, Sayyidina Umar,
Baba said, this is the last part. This is the last video I'm dealing with. Then I'm done.
radiallahu anhu, saying that, accusing people who will come and then say that we didn't find this in the Quran, therefore we will not do it. He said that Sayyidina Umar is saying that that is in the Quran. Thirdly, he has presented this hadith, and that's why I wanted it in Arabic text. The hadith clearly said that shatru.
Well, the word there doesn't actually say that the way Siddik is saying it. You see how he's mentioning the word. He's saying shatru, shatru. When you read in Arabic here, it says shatra, shatraha. It doesn't say shaturu, shaturu, shaturu. It says shatraha. You can see it clearly on the screen. Here, you see, when you check, it says shatraha. It keeps mentioning shatraha, shatraha. It's not even shaturu, shaturu. I don't know why he kept saying shaturu, shaturu. But let's check why Siddik was saying all these things. Right?
That's what the hadith says. So the Prophet ﷺ, he went to, when he was taken to the heavens, and if he denies this in the Quran, in Surah Al-Isra, where Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, he said that he went to Isra with the Prophet ﷺ. That is,
in Surah Al-Isra, there is no mention of the Prophet going to the sky or heaven. Neither does he mention the name Prophet Muhammad or the Rasul or Nabi. It doesn't say. Subhanallazi asra bi abdi layla min al-masjid al-haram ila al-masjid al-aqsa allazi barakna hawlahu nuriyahu min ayatina. When you go to verse 2, وَآتَيْنَا مُوسَى الْكِتَابَ وَجَعَلْنَاهُ هُدًى لِبَنِي إِسْرَائِيلَ أَلَّا تَتَّخِذُوا مِن دُونِي وَكِيلًا. It's talking about Musa alayhi salam. It doesn't mention Prophet Muhammad in that verse. You are saying he went to the sky. Read from verse 1 to verse 7. It doesn't mention anyone going to the heavens or the sky. But this is how the bozos have been taught from their garbage books. Let's go.
Taking, how do you call it? Taking the Prophet sallallahu alayhi wa sallam to the above. That Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in Surah Al-Isra, verse 1, Allah said, Subhanalladhi asra bi'abdihi laylan min al-masjid al-haram ila al-masjid al-aqsa. Barakna hawlahu linuriyahu min ayatina. Now Allah subhanahu.
You see, he stopped there. Chapter 17, verse 1. He just read that and he stopped there. So now he's going to lie. This is what he did.
He did Isra and he did Mi'raj with the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam.
That's it. He did Isra and he did Mihraj. Can you find Mihraj in that verse? No. Isra, Asra bi abdihi layla min al masjid al harami ila al masjid al aqsa. Masjid al aqsa, farthest mosque, it means far away. So it's a journey by night, going far away. It doesn't say going to the heavens or sky. Nowhere in the Quran does God call any masjid in the heavens or the sky Masjid al-Aqsa. There's no sky masjid there in the heavens. The word Aqsa is made in Sigatul Tafdil. It's a superlative form to mean something farthest away, very far away. Right? In a superlative form. Aqsa, Masjid al-Aqsa. So it's far.
Known by all Muslims all across board. So yes, there's Isra wal Mi'raj. Can the Prophet ﷺ be taken to heaven? Yes, we believe in that.
That's it. Siddik just this is called a debate.
How was that done? Allahu A'lam. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala just told us about the A'raja bihi, that he was taken to the heaven.
How did that happen? Allahu A'lam. Allah just told us he's taken to the heavens, and Siddik is answering my question.
We believe in that. Now, saying that the hadith.
So we believe in that, right?
Says shatru, wallahi.
I never say shatru. Siddik, you are saying shatru. The word says shatraha in Arabic. Shatraha. It doesn't say shatru.
Anyone who knows Arabic, don't. It's not for you, the one who don't know Arabic. You just type shatru. They'll give you say half. Shatru can mean half. Can mean.
Oh, can mean half. Can mean. So now he left Lisan in Arab. Siddik is the master of using Lisan in Arab. All of a sudden, he doesn't use Lisan in Arab. What happened, Siddik? So let's go and check. Siddik, the last time we were doing, we are dealing with you, this is what you said.
This is Lisan al-Arab. Okay, this is Lisan al-Arab, the tongue of the Arabs, meaning like the original Arabic, not the one spoken on the streets of Yemen, Medina, Dubai.
Oh, but Siddik, on that day, you didn't do this. You could have brought Lisan al-Arab again to actually put it on the screen and say, this is what shatra means. Oh, you see, this is the word shatra. Lisan al-Arab says it means this, it means that. You never did that. You didn't go to Qurtubi, Ibn Kathir, Ibn Abbas, Ibn Taymiyyah, Muwatta, Tabari. You didn't go all this. You threw it all under the bus. But we have Muhsin Khan, Dr. Muhammad Muhsin Khan. You rejected him. He translated it simple for you. You, Siddik, in Ghana, local from a village in Ghana, thinking you know better than all the scholars in the world, trying to tell us that, oh, this shatra in that hadith, it means parts, or it means portion only. It doesn't mean half. But let's listen to the bozo again.
Shatru doesn't necessarily mean half. It means part of something.
He says doesn't necessarily mean half. It means part of something. Does this guy understand English? Let's ask Siddik again. This is what he said.
And I've studied English. I'm a graduate, so I know English.
No, you don't know English. No, you don't know English. Wallahi. Is it how you know English? Who are you teaching at the university? We have to investigate you. Hashtag University of Ghana. Please, ladies and gentlemen. Hashtag University of Ghana. Right? Hashtag University of Ghana. They have to see this. I want them to see this so bad. Right? This guy is actually a lecturer, a graduate. He knows English. No, you don't know English. But let's see what you said.
So when you go to, someone should type Shatrul Layl. Someone should type Shatrul Layl, and you find out it will give you Shatrul Laylul Awwal.
Where should we type? Google? I thought you said we are Google scholars. We shouldn't go to Google. Now you are telling the audience someone should type Shatrul Layli. Siddik, what is wrong with you? We are dealing with numbers here. Look, if you are dealing with numbers for people who have studied mathematics, if you are dealing with numbers, the moment you are giving 50 as a number and it comes to fraction or whatever, and then the word shatra is used, it has to do bisect it. You have to bisect it, and bisection is going into half. That is the context. That is what will make sense out of it. Because if you say part of it, we will ask you, Siddik, then how much was the part? That part, how much was it? That's a simple logic here. How much was the part you mean? Okay, let's assume you say we agree with you that you say we should go to the internet and type shatra. We are going to do that. Babashuaib, I'm going to do that right now. So let me help you, Siddik. I'm also going that. So I'm going to Almani, one of the popular, they are using old lexicons to give their meaning. So let me go there and I put the word shatra. and let's see what the meanings they are going to give me, right? So let's help you out, Siddik, right? I'm almost bringing this to an end. So let's help Siddik out. So let's go to the page, almani.com. So I put the word shatra. So I go. Shatra means breaking, bursting, cleavage, cleaving, fission. Then it goes half of a line, of a verse, or a verse. You see, half, moiety, in the normal or required position, in a near close position. So it can be in the direction of so and so on. It keeps going. It gives you the list. It keeps giving, and then it came to the part where it says part, portion, section, right? So it is one of the meanings. Yes, we agree, part or part or section. But Siddik, why are you offended by the word half in that explanation? So I go to another page, arabic.fi. If you put the word, so let me go like this. I'm going to show you. If you put the word, let's say shin. So let me put the letter shin. Then I put the ta. I hope you're watching. Then I put the ra. So let me do this. Sorry. And I put the ra. So this is what we call shatra. This shatra, you see, the first meaning it gives you is bisect, meaning into half. Then it goes portion, you see, shatra. Then it goes, it can mean towards shatra al-masjid al-haram, right? The portion of it. So now here, so it can mean half, it can mean bisect, it can mean portion or part. We are not denying that. But why are you offended, Siddik, and calling me a liar? I go again, reverso.com. Here, it can mean part, it can mean half, it can mean portion. So your scholars who know better than you, Siddik, they decided to use the word half to explain it. Siddik, you are offended. You said I'm the liar. You said babashuaib is lying. Where did I lie, Siddik? You couldn't prove it. So let's see why Siddik called me a liar. So let's go again. So I share the screen, and then we see that part. Remember, this is the last part, and I'll be bringing this to an end after this, right? Let's expose the bozo. So this is the hadith. So you see, shatraha. When you check the context, when Musid Khan was explaining in English, he says, these are 5 salats. They are all equal to 50. For my word does not change. I returned to Musa. He told me to go back once again. I replied, now I feel shy of asking my Lord. Then Jibril took me to the Sidrat al-Muntaha. Then it goes on and on. So that Musin Khan used the word half. And I'm going to show you here. He reduced it. I went back to Allah here. Let me highlight it. I went back to Allah and he reduced it to half. Siddik says it's part or portion. So assuming if Muhammad came back to Musa and he says he reduced part of it, what will have Musa told him? Musa will say part of it. How much was that? How much is the part? You understand? Moses will have asked him, how much was the part? If you say part of it or portion, how much? Oh, so Muhammad, how much did he reduce? But when he used the word shatraha, it makes sense because it means half. Moses doesn't need to ask for clarification that, oh, how much is the half? No, half makes sense for everybody who understands the logic of numbers being split into 2. Siddik wanted to tell us he knows much. So listen what Siddik do.
Salis, meaning part of the night. So the hadith is saying that the Prophet ﷺ, when he took the 50 prayers, and this in the hadith, which I'll come back to, that the hadith was teaching something, which because Allah has blindfolded them and misguided them due to their heart desires, they could not even understand what the hadith is trying to teach. Again, the hadith is saying that shatru was reduced, meaning part of the salah was reduced. This ignorance of the Arabic language and the Quran and the hadith.
Siddik, you haven't recited Arabic. Let's continue. Oh, what did I do?
Told us about the a'raja bihi, that he was taken to the heavens. We believe in that.
Oh. Yeah, you read it.
So what is in the hadith is shatru, and when I finish in my last sentence, I'll put it there for everyone to see. Don't worry. Don't worry. You see, you are interrupting me. You are interrupting me, yes, and that's 1 minute out of my time.
You extend your time. Don't worry. Pause the time.
I paused it, and that's
you read it. You have
don't worry. Don't worry. I will read it loud for everyone to hear. The hadith is shatru.
Yes,
you are saying half necessarily.
No problem. You read. Here, somebody was asking, babashuaib, what made you tell Siddik to read it? I wanted to show him that I'm the boss. He is the host, but I want to tell him that he is mentally frustrated. So I have to put a pressure. I knew that was the last question to end the program. So I have to put a pressure on him. For Siddik, throughout, he was the one keep forcing me, read Arabic, read it. So I wanted to use the same strategy. Siddik, you have to read. So I said, I'll pause the time. At that point, the 2 minutes, it doesn't matter to me anymore. So Siddik, you have to read it. And I showed that to him that I'm smarter than him. I made him read it, actually. It wasn't to read it just for me to be impressed that, oh, he knows Arabic. Or no. It's a garbage book anyway. So if you are reading a garbage book, how am I impressed? But the point is to get him to submit to my orders, my instructions, my rules. That I'm more sensible than him. He couldn't force me to read his garbage book, but I forced him to read his garbage book. This is the difference. That is the reason why I made him read. Okay, so let's see. Read it.
So I'm putting the hadith there. I'm putting it there. Don't worry.
No, you don't have to put it on the screen. Read it. I'm cross-checking you
I'm putting
here.
it on the screen. No. I'm putting for people to see. What smartness are you
People
trying to
don't
say?
know
This is not
to see.
smartness.
I'm debating with you.
So this is it. This is it.
No. We need a timer also. Siddik,
So
I need a timer. So you saw what I was doing. I wanted to frustrate Siddik and the last part because I knew both the timer and this thing cannot be adjusted there. So I wanted Siddik to go in the position where he got so frustrated in the sense that he lose control. And when he lose control, he will he have nothing to say already. So I have to put him in that position. And that's why I did that to him. So watch what we can hear.
What are you now saying? What you are saying now has no basis. What are you now saying?
Siddik.
So
so
what are you now saying?
No, wait. Okay, no problem. I can spare you the time. That time minutes, the 2 minutes left, I can spare you. Read the hadith in Arabic fully. Let's cross-check you. Read it. You are the answerer. Read it.
Okay, so start the hadith.
No, you are the answerer. You have to answer. So read it in full.
You are the one in control of the hadith. Am I the one in control of the hadith? You are the one in control of the hadith.
I'm done asking you a question. You don't have to ask me a question. You don't have the right to ask me a question right now. You are answering the question. Can you read it in Arabic?
I feel like crying, eh?
I love you.
Where do I write? Where do I read it?
That is it on the screen. This is Arabic,
hadith.
ladies and gentlemen. This is Arabic. I can make it bigger for you. Siddik, do you need glasses? Here's it. Let's go step by step, please. Let's go. Read it. Please read it. We are going to read on. So you're answering my question. So you see, that's how I got him to submit to my instructions. And he fell for it because I knew he was frustrated, mentally frustrated. I told him he's an inexperienced debater. He doesn't have any experience in debating. So I did that to show him that he's an amateur. And I got him to submit to that. Of course, in between, I knew the 2 minutes left, Siddik would not answer my question. So I have to use my tactic to get him to submit to my instruction. And it worked. So that's why I made him read. I didn't make him read to say, oh, So I made him read. Let's skip that part. Then he got to it was a very long hadith. As part. So you are saying part, right? Tell me, give us one source of your scholars where they translated this as part.
So when you say scholars, who do you mean by scholars?
Wait, I ask you, Siddik, you know your scholars. So I say, give me one of your scholars who translated this particular as part. Because Siddik, you went to a scholar to learn, isn't it? You say you went to scholars to learn from them. You have teachers who taught you the hadith on your garbage books. So how come you couldn't make a reference? Because in our agreement, in the rules and regulations of the debate, this is what it says. It says, number 5, every statement will be backed up by tangible evidences or sources of information. So what, Siddik, I needed from you when I said your scholars is to the way you keep bringing Qurtubi and whatever scholars you had, I wanted you to do the same and tell me this is what my scholar actually said. I was pushing you to the wall. You didn't get it. Now you said it can mean half, right? That's what you said.
I said it can mean half, it can mean part. So why did you choose half?
Okay, I didn't choose half. Siddik, I didn't choose half. Okay. According to you, because we are not following your teachings. You are following your scholars' teachings, right?
Who is my teaching? Who is my scholar? Who do you know?
He's rejecting his scholars now. Siddik, a Salafi, he's from Salafi movement, and he's rejecting the Salafi scholars all of a sudden. And he's rejecting the Sunni scholars all of a sudden. And all his Sunni scholars agree with this hadith. Saudi Arabia agree with this hadith. That's why they made Dr. Mohsen Khan translate this hadith. And then it was published all over the world. And these books are very expensive for you to buy. It costs much more money than the Quran. Do you understand? And Siddik in a village from Ghana is rejecting all of the sudden because he was being embarrassed. Okay.
My scholar.
Oh, you don't have your scholars? So no more could be.
My scholar is Dr. Ahmed. My scholar is
No. So you could have told us Dr. Ahmed what explanation he gave you concerning this. You didn't say it. So no more Qurtubi. You don't need Qurtubi.
I don't have a translate. Qurtubi.
You don't need
to translate. Does it make hadith Qurtubi?
You don't need Ibn
Quran. Yeah, Sheikh.
No. So you don't have Ibn Kathir, Ibn Abbas. You don't need them today.
Ibn Kathir, was he translating? Was he making a definition of?
I was going to this extent to frustrate Siddik because I knew he doesn't have answers to the questions I'm going to ask. So you can see how I comported myself, just going up further and asking him such questions. And he was so frustrated. He's getting, tensed and, frustrated. So watch.
This hadith.
Okay, so who defined this hadith to mean is part of the Quran?
Shatr, simple Arabic. Shatr means part. Shatr means.
Our argument is not about shatra or shatru. That's not what we are arguing about. The question I ask you, Siddik, you left it on the side and you are dealing the issue of shatra. That is not the argument.
Is
it the only meaning?
Simple.
Please confess. Is it the only meaning? Shatr.
I have already you see how you are webbed up.
No. Answer. Is it the only meaning?
I have already said that shatr can mean half. It can also mean part of something. Simple.
Yes. So then who chose it to be part of something? Who chose that context to be part? Because the context clearly shows is half. You said it's part. No, but in this context, you tell me, where did your scholars translate this as part?
When you say my scholars, which scholars? Is the one you mentioned? You said Mohsen.
So now you don't have scholars.
Who told you is my scholar?
No, okay.
I don't have scholars who use English as
Siddik.
I don't have.
Where did the Prophet say it is
Google?
part?
I don't have Google.
So now you see how he's mocking Dr. Muhsin Khan, who Saudi Arabia actually approved. He says he doesn't have Sunni. What is trying to say? That means he doesn't. Oh, sorry. Yeah, he is trying to say that he doesn't have. Dr. Muhsin Khan is not a scholar, so he was actually mocking Dr. Muhsin Khan, but he forgot that Dr. Muhsin Khan is not a Quran alone follower or part of my whatever I belong to. No, Dr. Muhsin Khan is your own scholar because he's a Sunni also. So when I say your scholar, it is referring to you, Siddik, but you are rejecting him, throwing him under the bus.
Google, how do you call it?
Siddik, who translated it as part for you? Tell us today. Who translated as part?
Okay, if you want right now, I can investigate the hadith. If you want right now, I can investigate the hadith right now and then bring you where it is said how the shatr means part of it.
No. So Siddik came to a debate unprepared. He said, if I want right now, he will investigate from his library and tell me where shatra means part of it. So which means, Siddik, you don't have knowledge. You still have to go investigate from your library. All these jumbles of books you put behind you, you have to now investigate from it and then tell me. It shows that you are not knowledgeable, because if you had knowledge, you simply could have told me, according to this book, this scholar said it means part of it. Simple. Where did you put lisan in Arab? You threw it away all of a sudden. So you, Siddik, all of a sudden, out of nowhere, chose your own meaning. Say now it means part. So we should leave all your scholars who keep saying half. That means they are uneducated. Oh, Siddik. Did it with Aswadi.
This is Arabic. Why did you choose to use the word half? Why did you choose to use the word half?
Siddik, wait. I was translating the question you asked me. I talked about Abiyadu and Aswadi. Going to the.
Why I said read Arabic and leave translation. You see why I said read Arabic and.
If we read Arabic and leave translation, how can the audience know what we are talking about? Hello, we are doing a debate in English. You are telling me I should read Arabic and leave the translation. Please, how can the audience know what we are talking about? Are we there to show them that we know Arabic and we speak Arabic, or we can what Siddik, what is wrong with your logic? We are not there to display our Arabic prowess. We are there to let people understand what the book says. Simple. That's why we were there. No, I did it. The shatru.
I don't have a Google sheikh. I don't have a Google sheikh.
Siddik, your scholar Muhsin Khan. Siddik, your scholar.
I don't even know him. I don't use.
Do you see how we rejected Dr. Muhsin Khan? Let me put Dr. Muhsin Khan on the screen here, so that you see the background or who Dr. Muhsin Khan actually is. It's not an ordinary person. So Dr. Muhammad Muhsin Khan, born in the year 1927, died in the year 2021, was an Islamic scholar and translator. And when we say scholar, we are talking about someone, a learned person who by long study has gained mastery in one or more disciplines, right? Because if he's not a learned person, he cannot translate the Quran, he cannot translate the Hadith books, right? From Arabic to English. So it goes. And translator of Afghan origin who lived in Medina and served as the chief of department of chest diseases at the King Faisal Specialist Hospital and Research Center. He translated both the Quran and Sahih al-Bukhari into English. He was the director of the Clinic of Islamic University of Medina. He was the first translator of Sahih al-Bukhari into English language. And some of his notable works are the translation of the meanings of Sahih al-Bukhari. He summarized Sahih al-Bukhari, Noble Quran, co-authored with Muhammad Taqiyuddin al-Hilal. Then he says, Understanding Ramadan. All these works, Dr. Muhammad Muhsin Khan actually did these notable works. So that makes him a scholar. This guy rejected him, put him under the bus, even though Muhammad Muhsin Khan is still a Sunni, approved by Saudi Arabia. Siddik, you that Saudi Arabia doesn't even know you, but you claim you are rejecting Dr. Muhsin Khan. So let's listen to you. Your scholar translated it as half. You tell your scholars. Siddik, please listen to my question.
You are making things up.
He says I'm making things up. I didn't make things up. But you just lied. You just said part. It's not part. It's half.
It's half. You are saying it's half. Shatr means also means.
Then prove me wrong. Prove me wrong. Your hadith book says half. The idea is, Siddik, bring the evidence to prove me wrong. Shut me up by an evidence. We shouldn't be going back and forth. Because one word can have multiple meanings. Yes, I agree. But if you say it means part, Siddik, prove to us by evidence. That's the idea of the debate. Half.
Which hadith? Now you have chosen. So let me.
Oh, so now Muhsin Khan is useless, right?
I don't even know him. I don't know the one you're talking. I don't know him.
Oh, your own scholars.
I'm not a Google student.
Let's be take it forward for him to answer the last part of it. No, listen. I gave you spare time. I stopped the time and I said
I didn't finish 3 times hadith. And he was saying that 12, 17. Wallahi, that's what I said. They build their own.
You haven't finished reading the hadith. I talked about even the raka'at. Where did you get that? I didn't mention 17. Where did I mention? I only mentioned 17 concerning raka'at. I say, where does the hadith talk about raka'at? We don't see it there. How did you get the raka'at? We don't see it there. That's all I said. Siddik misquoted me.
The point here is the
do you see the demeanor he has? Do you see the frustration he had on the face? He's so pissed. And this is the kind of people who I claim to be, they can be terrorists, because they are so, if this guy gets me physically, he's a Salafi, he can slaughter me. I'm serious. You got to shut up.
That's the point. That is the point. So leave it for me to answer.
It's not the point. No. My guy, don't lie.
Google. Yeah, Sheikh Google.
You see, he started calling me Sheikh Google. He was doing all this to insult me, to mock me.
Leave it for me to answer. Why are you interrupting? Why you worked up? Why are you worked up?
He's going to declare fatwa.
If a word can mean different things, you choose to use one and you left the one, and you see you built your own schema. You built your own schema. That's what I said. And anyone who doesn't, like a child who calls everything that with 4 legs, he calls it dog. That's what you're doing. Shatr everywhere you see shatr, and you say half. So everyone who doesn't believe in that, the person is an ignorant, the person is a mushrik, the person is a how do you call it? Hadith rejecter. So this is the problem, Jama, as we can see, this is the problem with this people. 3 hadith he has presented, he has lied on the hadith, and you see clearly he doesn't know Arabic, because if he knows Arabic, he would have known that how do you call it? Shatr doesn't only mean half, it also means part of something. Again,
but that wasn't the question, Siddik. You left the question unanswered. You left the question unanswered. Where is the question? Where is the answer of the question? Nowhere.
هذا بيان للناس, which is part of my time is not finished, so I'm making use of my time. هذا بيان للناس. He said, I said بيان للناس means the people, which is another lie. I said
Look, he left my question unanswered, and now he's going to talk about other things which has nothing to do with the topic of discussion. I asked you a question. He didn't answer the question. He left my question unanswered. He based the argument on shatra, and he keeps saying shatru, even though the verse says shatraha. shatraha.
بيان للناس is when Allah said, سيروا في الأرض فانظروا كيف كان عاقبة الذين من قبلكم. Travel to the lands and go and see how we dealt. So how we dealt with the people before you is what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is telling the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. The way Allah dealt with them is bayan. In itself is an explanation, linnas, for the people. And then he lied that had.
Ladies and gentlemen, that's how Siddik deflated my question by not answering my question. And then he escaped from that. So this part ends the cross-examination question, because we did 3 parts that I questioned him and he also questioned. I gave him the answers. So for anybody who wants to see how I answered him, the full debate is on my page, on my Facebook page, right? However, on YouTube, I put it in sequence. I put the first stage, that is the introduction and presentation. Then I put the rebuttals. So I'm going to put this cross-examination, but I have to put it together in such a way that people can watch it into as a sequence, right? So I did this post-debate review on it, put it on my pages, so that when I put the full debate, the full part of the cross-examination, it will make sense of whoever actually watches it. So that is just the point. I need to clarify this misconception of the way, because these sectarians are just there to cause confusion in people's head. You can see any clear question I ask him, he doesn't have any clarity and he doesn't have any tangible answers to give. So this is the Siddik you have. Of course, I don't classify him as a scholar, but we did the debates to actually show the people that these people are devious and they are liars. And that's why I call them sectarian mushriks. They are there to lie to you. They have nothing to offer you. Wallahi lazim. So ladies and gentlemen, I've done 2 hours 50 minutes. This is where I have to bring the topic to an end. I can't keep going because I've done enough. So this ends my post-debate review on the emotional mushrik, aka the Salafiyya bozo, which is Siddik Salis. So kindly hashtag Siddik RIP Siddik bozo, or hashtag RIP Siddik, or hashtag RIP bozo, or hashtag Siddik bozo. So thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for your being present to actually participate in the crashing and burial of Siddik officially. So we have actually buried him. His chapter has been closed now. No need to mention his name anymore. Just hashtag and leave him the hashtag doing the trending for him, right? So we've buried him yesterday and we put the red flowers on him. So we don't want to hear from him again, inshallah. So ladies and gentlemen, this is the correctional officer. I'm bringing this topic to an end. Before I bring it to an end, let me play the Ghana Abadan 4. After playing the Ghana Abadan 4 video, I play Siddik bozo last video of frustration. Then we bring it to an end. So thank you very much. Let me mention some names. We have God Vader. We have Tariq Ayub, Kudisiya, Baba Sedu, Harley, Free Riders. We have Balogun Yusuf, Marwan, Salis, Jimmy, Kaisar, everybody, Abdul Samad, Amira, Mohammed, I know you are watching. We have everyone is here. Sister Natalia, of course, Sister Natalia, you have your name in the Greek. I can't pronounce that. So thank you all, ladies and gentlemen. I appreciate your presence and your support. And we keep in touch again if any issue comes up. Other than that, till then, we meet next week again, inshallah. So this is the Ghana Abadan 4. Then we go with it. Assalamu alaikum to you all.
Malamuti asemwe wallahi obi afankwa dinbinimu without the hadith muntieni without the hadith you can't even know say where na ye Quran no muntie kasa na make you without the hadith you can't know say this is the Quran. You can never know the Quran without the hadith.
And then you koda na sade bechi nti me kasa history be any way authentic this Quran.
History be anywhere.
Because every history has been touched, it can be changed. Even the hadith are Quran. There are some hadiths are totally into your great hadith, you know, your Hassan, your Sahih, your Muttafaqun alayhi, your Da'if.
Ladies and gentlemen, you are going to enjoy this show. Okay. So here, this book of Salat, you can see here, they say the book of Salat, right? The prayer. Now, this is Hadith Sahih al-Bukhari 349, narrated by Abu Dhar. He said, Allah's messenger said, whilst I was at
Makkah... No. Please read the text itself. Read the text itself, not translation. Read the text itself.
Siddik, listen to me carefully. I'm a questioner. You don't tell me how to question you.
No. You are dealing with the hadith. What you are reading is not hadith.
Show me in the rules where we said Somebody
Is it not
must.
hadith you are reading?
I
Is it not
said,
hadith you are reading?
Siddik, listen to
Inna
logic
lillahi wa
here.
inna ilayhi raji'un.
Show me
There's no
in
logic in what you
your
are doing.
rules. Show me in the rules where it says I must read your hadith book in Arabic. Tell me.
The hadith is Arabic. The hadith is
I
Arabic.
said,
That is
show
it.
me in the rules.
We didn't also say that we are going to read translation. So just if you
I'm
are
a
quoting
questioner.
hadith,
Siddik, I'm a questioner. Are you going
Is
to
that
teach me how
trans-
to question you?
is the translation hadith? Is the translation a hadith?
Siddik, are you going to teach me how to question you?
You are questioning me on the hadith and you are not saying the hadith. I'm not
Can you
teaching how to
shut your
question you.
beak? Let me talk. Let me finish my question.
Okay,
Then
so
you
simple
can
guys,
say what
as you
you are
can
going
see,
to.
he cannot read the Arabic again.
No
He cannot
problem.
read.
I've never been to
He
school,
cannot
ladies
read.
and gentlemen. I
He
cannot
cannot
read.
read.
Let the wise decide for themselves. I'm going to read the comedy book. See it for yourself. Can you mute your mic, please?
He cannot read. So continue with your
No
translation.
problem.
I don't believe that is the hadith. So
No
pay
problem.
attention. I don't believe what you are reading is hadith. So you can't
No
ask me a question on
problem.
that.
When you come, you read it to your people and then tell them if I'm lying. Can you mute your mic? Let me make my point.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
Okay. So this, their own translation is translated by their own Sunni scholar, Muhsin Khan, right? Muhammad Muhsin Khan. This is a translation. So when he comes to answer, let him read all these jumbles here and explain it. So now this is here, narrated by Abu Dhar. He says, Allah's messenger said, this is God forbid. God's messenger will never say this garbage thing here. Wallahi lazim.
Go ahead with
While
your go
I
ahead.
was
You
at
are
Mecca-
not lecturing. You are not lecturing. Go ahead with your question.
I'm going to ask you a question. I'm reading the
So ask
question.
the question and stop lecturing.
Siddik, why are you interrupting me? I don't
You
understand.
are lecturing instead of asking a question. So that is it. Ask
And
your
if you
question
came
and stop
preaching
lecturing.
instead of a debate, you were preaching earlier when
So
we
go
started.
ahead. Simple. Go ahead with the question. Go ahead.
Hey,
Go ahead.
Jama, look at what is going on here.
You have the
Hey,
platform. Go ahead with the question.
but Siddik,
stop
don't
lecturing.
interrupt me.
So go ahead with the question. I will
Hey.
interrupt you if you deviate. That is part of the
Are
rule.
you upset with the hadith or me?
Go ahead, ask question and don't give lectures. Simple.
Can you stop interrupting? Then I can read.
So read.
Please mute your mic for the sake of argument. When you are
No,
talking, I
read.
mute my mic. Can you mute your mic? Please?
Read. Go ahead.
Siddik,
I'm not talking.
mute your mic.
It is said in the rules, simple, that when you deviate, you'll be brought back to
Siddik,
correction.
mute your mic.
That is not part of the rule. So read.
Subhanallah. Siddik is upset with the hadith. So. Okay, no problem.
I feel like crying, eh?
I love you.